Chapter 600. CF 15, and the three Ghost Kings did not hold back at all. Except for 15, who was a late-stage monarch god, the others were all sages and half-sages. With such a team, who else in the ghost world could be their match? Everyone, don't hold back. If we don't stop them and let them go up, we will be in trouble if they destroy a young lady's resurrection. 15 reminded CF and the others worriedly when he saw more and more demonic beasts and ghost soldiers. Okay, I know. I didn't expect to encounter such a huge battle after so many years. Ha ha ha, but I like it. At that moment, the evil phoenix was like the god of death. It had an evil smile on its face. Then it flapped its wings and instantly hundreds and thousands of demonic beasts and ghost soldiers turned into ashes. Not only CF, but the three Ghost Kings were the same. After all, they had the strength of a half-sage. They could kill hundreds and thousands of people with a wave of their hands. 15 was relieved. A bunch of boars. At this moment, when 15 and the others were fighting with the demonic beasts and ghost soldiers, a wisp of black gas floated past them without being noticed. This wisp of black gas was none other than Huawu. Huawu sneered when he saw the battlefield. Then, he quickly rushed to the top of the mountain. At this moment, no one noticed Huawu's trace. Just like this, Huawu smoothly reached the top of the mountain. The moment he reached the top of the mountain, Huawu saw Lin Ray staring at a mirror. He sneered, and then, without anyone noticing, he floated towards Linley. However, what Huawu didn't know was that although Linley, who had been blinded, couldn't see, he hadn't retracted his divine sense. Thus, how could Linley not sense the sudden appearance of the black smoke? Sensing the black smoke coming at him, Linley's heart was filled with rage. It rushed into his mind. Linley, who had been relatively clear-headed, felt the killing intent emanating from the black smoke, and his heart was filled with killing intent. Whoosh! Seeing that the black gas was about to reach Linley, the Chaos Dragon Spear appeared without any warning. Then, Linley turned around and took 2 steps towards the black gas. The Chaos Dragon Spear in his hand pierced through the black gas and stabbed into the ground. It was so fast that the black gas didn't even have time to react before it was stabbed. The instant Linley's Chaos Dragon Spear pierced through the black gas, a miserable cry rang out. Following that, a person dressed in blood-red clothes appeared not too far away. At this moment, there was a hole in the man's chest where the spear had pierced through. Blood gushed out like a fountain. If the man hadn't dealt with it in time, Lin Ray wouldn't have needed to do anything. The man would have bled to death. I'm only teaching you a lesson this time. If you take another step forward, don't blame me for being impolite. At this moment, at such a critical moment, Lin Ray didn't want to be too far away from the reincarnation mirror. He didn't want anything to go wrong. The moment Lin Ray said those words, Huawu laughed out loud. But Huawu was still clutching his chest because of the pain. Brat, you are merely a middle-stage god emperor. How dare you be so impudent in front of me? Do you know that I am the Ghost King of the ghost world, Huawu? You, scram. Lin Ray didn't have the chance to deal with this long-winded person. He directly said the word scram before turning around and continuing to block the reincarnation mirror with his divine sense. You, how dare you? At this moment, Huawu was infuriated. This was the first time he met such an arrogant person. How could he, who had always been in a high position, endure such humiliation? Die for this seat. Huawu, who was originally filled with killing intent, wanted to kill this person in front of him even more. Following that, a weapon similar to the Amei Piercer appeared. He charged towards Lin Ray with his powerful cultivation. His speed was as fast as lightning. In addition to Huawu's thunderous aura, anyone would be afraid of him. However, no matter how much he thought about it, what he didn't consider was that Linley himself was someone who feared nothing and did everything based on his heart. Why would he be afraid of him? Since you want to die, don't blame this seat. Seeing this person seeking death, Lin Ray didn't give him any chance. Even if the other party was a Ghost King from the ghost world, Lin Ray didn't care. The 3 great Ghost Kings were his protectors, much less a mere Ghost King. Using his divine sense to probe the incoming Ghost King Huawu, Lin Rei raised the primal Chaos Dragon Spear and activated the martial god stratagem. Amen? What was going on? Under the effect of the martial god stratagem, Huawu, who was flying towards Lin Rei, stopped at his original position. He couldn't move forward at all. At this moment, Huawu, who was stopped in midair by the martial god stratagem, looked at Lin Rei in shock and confusion. This seat said before that this seat has something important to do here. But you blind idiots just had to come and cause trouble. Since that's the case, then let's do it here. As he spoke, Linley took a step forward, and his body instantly disappeared from where he was. When he reappeared, he was already in front of Huawu. This time, Lin Rei didn't kill him directly. Instead, he put away the primal Chaos Dragon Spear and punched an inch below Huawu's navel. Pong! It was the sound of something breaking. At this moment, it spread throughout the entire holy mountain. Shortly after, Wu Hua's hysterical screams echoed throughout the sacred mountain. You actually broke this seat's Dan palace. You bastard! Feeling his Dan palace empty, Huawu's eyes turned red. In addition to his blood-red clothes, he looked like a beast. As for Huawu's scream, Lin Rei acted as if he didn't hear it. Then, he punched Huawu's face. Pong! 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 The next scene was the bloodiest one. Lin Rei punched Huawu's body with hatred and killing intent. For a cultivator whose physical body had reached the middle stage of the God Realm, just one punch was enough to destroy a planet. Now, one punch after another landed on Huawu's body. It wasn't hard to imagine what kind of state Huawu was in. His internal organs were shattered, his bones were broken, and his chin was smashed by Lin Rei's punch. Now, Huawu couldn't even scream. After a series of chaotic punches, one of the Ghost Kings, Wu Hua, has already fainted. After all, he's a Ghost King. In the God Realm, he's a hierarch. Linley doesn't believe that he'll die from a few punches. Looking at Huawu, who was beyond recognition, Lin Rei's eyes were filled with disdain. Carrying Huawu, Lin Rei came to the entrance of the holy mountain. Looking at the scene of war, Lin Rei's eyes were cold. Then, he looked at Huawu, who was in his hands. You should find a place to die. After saying that, Lin Rei looked down. Holding Huawu's hand, he threw him down. Instantly, Huawu turned into a ray of light and was thrown down from the holy mountain by Lin Rei. Wong. Just as Linley finished doing all this, the mirror of Samsara, floating above the Spirit Stone mountains behind him, began to tremble violently. Whoosh! A beam of light shot up from the reincarnation mirror to the heavens. Quick, Lin Rei, ask the reincarnation mirror where your wife is. At this moment, the system's urgent voice sounded. Hearing this, Lin Rei didn't say a word. He stepped in front of the reincarnation mirror and asked excitedly, Reincarnation mirror, can you tell me where my wife and child are? At this moment, the one who spoke was Lin Rei. His voice was choked with emotion. He wasn't crying, but he was so excited that he cried tears of joy. At this moment, it was as if he could see his wife come back to life and stand in front of him. Your wife. Suddenly, a loud and clear voice rang out, spreading to the surroundings. Every living being on the sacred mountain heard it. Yes, it's activated. It's activated. At this moment, when 15 and CF Feng heard this voice, they knew that the reincarnation mirror was activated. That's right. I also want to know where my wife, Jin Ling, and son, Jin are. Hearing Lin Rei's response, the reincarnation mirror began to fall silent. Countless images began to flash on the reincarnation mirror, as if it was reincarnating for thousands of generations. At this moment, Lin Rei, who was looking at the images on the reincarnation mirror, was very excited. This feeling of excitement and fear was at the same time. This feeling was something he had never experienced in his life. Even when he learned that his wife and child had died, he wasn't as excited and afraid as he was now. Time passed little by little. However, as time passed, Lin Rei's heart became more and more terrified. The excitement on his face gradually turned into gloominess and panic as time passed. Your wife and child, I can't find them. They're not in the ghost realm, the god realm, the immortal realm, or the human realm. They're not in the devil realm either. As for the holy realm, I've just checked. So, the conclusion is that they might be completely dead. Gotcha. Boom. At this moment, Lin Ray's face was blank, and his hands were tightly clasped together. The instant he heard the mirror of Samsara's words, Linley felt as though he had been struck by a bolt from the blue. His mind instantly went blank. Aside from the mirror of Samsara's final words, that he was completely dead, there was nothing else in his mind. How could it be? How can it be Linger and the others? No. The little dragon said that my wife and child are not dead yet. No, you're lying to me. At this moment, the blank Lin Ray muttered to himself as if he had gone mad. The murderous aura on his body was completely released at this moment. It can't be like this. It can't be like this. I've worked so hard for so many years to revive my wife and child. It can't be, the little dragon said. I believe the little dragon. A roar with a huge cultivation base began to spread out. Chapter 601. His voice was full of anger, despair, helplessness, hatred, and many kinds of uncomfortable emotions. All of them were reflected in this hysterical roar. The voice was so loud that the demonic beasts, ghost soldiers, and 15 stopped what they were doing and looked up at the top of the mountain when they heard this roar. What's going on, young master? Young master, alas. Idiot, a dead man can't come back to life. This matter can only be seen through by him. 15, who felt despair from the roar at this moment, began to worry about him. Siefeng, do you want to go? No, you won't be of any help if you go now. At this time, it's better to let him vent himself. Moreover, at this time, it will only be more troublesome if you go. Remember, you are not as strong as that guy. If he goes crazy at this time, what will you do? Siefeng, who seemed to know 15's intention, said to him helplessly, Alas, I know what you're talking about, but the young master. 15 knew what the evil phoenix was talking about, but he couldn't bear to let Linley face this alone. He wanted to face it together with him. He even thought that if the pain could be transferred, he would be able to do it. He would rather transfer all the pain to himself. However, he knew that this kind of thing could only be wishful thinking. At this moment, whether it was the foot of the mountain or the mountainside, it was very quiet without any sound. Sorry, I didn't answer your question. Tell me one more condition. At this moment, the loud voice sounded again. At this moment, Lin Ray, who was kneeling on the ground in pain, heard this voice. With hatred in his heart, he turned around, locked all his divine senses on the reincarnation mirror, and roared at it coldly. Condition? Condition? Why can't you bring my wife and child back to life? Why has everything changed now? Why do you do this? Now my wife and child can't live. What condition do you want to talk about? At this time, Lin Ray had gone crazy. If he were not blind, his eyes would be bloodshot at this moment. The reincarnation mirror, which had been roared at by Lin Ray, was silent at this moment. It didn't say a single word, and the pillar of light that reached the sky slowly began to withdraw at this moment. All right, since you don't have any conditions, then I look forward to being awakened by you again. The beam of light shrunk faster and faster until it finally disappeared completely. However, when the beam of light completely disappeared, the mysterious voice spoke again. But this time, Lin Ray didn't pay any attention to it. He stood blankly at the top of the holy mountain in silence. In his mind, there were memories of Jinling. At this moment, it was as if a movie was playing in his mind. Husband, I'll wait for your return. Husband, waiting for you is my greatest happiness. I'm willing. Husband, I want to go home and see grandfather. I want to see our son. I miss you. His heart was bleeding. It was real. Lin Ray clearly remembered Jinling's words at this moment. 10 years of life and death were boundless. It was unforgettable. There was no place to talk to. Even if they met, they wouldn't know each other. Her face was covered with dust, and her hair was like frost. She suddenly returned to her hometown in a dream at night. She looked at each other without saying anything, only tears. It was expected that her intestines would be broken every year. Bright moon night, short pine ridge. Her hair is like frost every 10 years. Ling, what do you want me to do? Back then, I was afraid that you would be in danger if you followed me, so I often helped you in the sect. But who would have thought? I was wrong, I was so wrong. Back then, I was too eager for instant success. I only knew how to think about the sect. I didn't think about you and your mother. I was wrong, I was wrong. Tears flowed from his eyes, but the color was very different. At this moment, the color of the tears was purple. What was even more heartbreaking was that at this moment, Lin Ray's hair had turned white in an instant. The so-called white hair overnight was nothing more than this. Oh, however, at this moment, at the mountainside of the sacred mountain, the battle that had stopped because of Lin Ray's roar continued. However, at this moment, those demon beasts and ghost soldiers whose eyes were red had returned to normal. You people of the ghost realm, I'm one of the 3 ghost kings of the ghost realm, Ghostly. If you retreat now, I will not pursue it. Otherwise, don't blame me for not giving you face. At this moment, seeing that the ghost soldiers' expressions had returned to normal, without the madness and redness from before, Ghostly quickly stepped forward and said in a commanding tone, "Plop, plop, plop." Sure enough, Ghostly still had a lot of power in the ghost realm. When the ghost soldiers heard Ghostly's words, they revealed a look of fear. As for their bodies, when they heard Ghostly's voice, they had already involuntarily prostrated themselves on the ground. Ghost King Ghostly, we know our mistake. We will retreat now. Looking at the ghost soldier's current state, Ghostly revealed a smile. Although he had already eaten the soul-controlling pill, the soul-controlling pill could only control him and be used by him. It did not affect his other will. This was the wonder of the soul-controlling pill. At this moment, millions of ghost soldiers began to quickly leave under Ghostly's command. As for the remaining demon beasts, although they were demon beasts, they already had their own consciousness. This was the ghost realm. They had heard of the 3 ghost kings' reputation. Therefore, the moment they heard Ghostly's words, the leader of the demon beasts also had the intention to retreat. Xie Feng, who had been observing them, naturally saw the demon beast's intention to retreat. She did not want to kill anymore and stepped forward. At this moment, she released her divine beast aura. His tone was ice cold as he said to the demonic beasts that had come to invade, "You all, I won't pursue the matter of you coming here today. You all should quickly leave. Otherwise, you can stay here forever and never return." Bam! Bam! At this moment, Xie Feng could be said to be in the limelight. The moment she released her divine beast aura on the sacred mountain, as long as they were demon beasts, they were all suppressed to the ground. Yes, Honorable One, we did not want to invade this time. Therefore, once again, we thank Honorable One for not killing us. We will take our leave now. Hearing their words, Xie Feng smiled and nodded. As for the demon beasts, they had already begun to retreat down the mountain. However, as the saying goes, it is easy to come up but hard to go down. Since they were already here, how could they leave without paying a price? Ha ha ha! At this moment, just as Xie Feng and the 3 ghost kings ordered the demon beasts to retreat, a sinister laugh came from the top of the sacred mountain. At the top of the sacred mountain, there was no one else other than Lin Ray. At this moment, when 15, Xie Feng and the rest heard Lin Ray's laughter, instantly, Xie Feng's expression changed, and she cautioned 15 and the 3 ghost kings, "Be careful. He must be very sad because his wife and son can't be resurrected. To prevent anything from happening to him, try not to get close to him later." What? At this moment, 15, who heard Xie Feng's words, asked with a puzzled expression, "Ha, don't ask. You will know in a while." 15 did not ask any more questions. Then, she looked up at the top of the mountain, her eyes full of concern. Ha ha! At this moment, Lin Ray, who was standing on the top of the mountain, had an evil smile on his face. His hair was white, and his face was extremely pale. His entire body was wrapped in the illusory spirit blood fire, as if the god of fire had descended to the world. He was mighty and domineering. Haha, today my wife and son can't be resurrected, and you dare to invade this place. Do you think this is the end? Lin Ray's melodious voice came, and everyone on the sacred mountain, be it human, beast, or ghost soldiers, were stunned at this moment. As expected, in the face of such a double blow, even if you are a god, you still can't escape the fate of becoming a demon. Xiefeng had already noticed Lin Ray's signs of becoming a demon at this moment. What? Becoming a demon? Indeed. Impossible. How could the young master become a demon? No, I don't believe it. At this moment, 15 and Xiefeng were arguing. 15 was very sure that Lin Ray could not have become a demon, and it was impossible for Lin Ray to become a demon. Then let's wait and see. Let's see what will happen next. 15 ignored Xiefeng when she heard this. However, at this moment, 15's firm confidence began to waver when he thought of how important Jinling was to Lin Ray. Whoosh! Just as 15 was puzzled and everyone was stunned, a blood-colored flame rushed down from the sacred mountain. It was so fast that not a single blade of grass was left in its wake. What was even more shocking was that at this moment, even the rocks on the sacred mountain began to burn the moment they came into contact with the illusory spirit bloodfire. The sudden appearance of this scene caused everyone to be stunned on the spot. They just stared blankly at the ball of flame that was descending at an extremely fast speed. This scene also fell into Xiefeng's eyes. Looking at the ball of flame, Xiefeng was already stunned. Even she, who had lived in the Eldritch world before, had never seen this kind of flame. Young master. At the side, 15 looked at the ball of flame and knew that the controller of this flame was his master, Lin Ray. All of you, die for me. A single sentence, a sentence filled with cold, killing intent, boundless fury, and hatred, instantly spread to all the living beings on the sacred mountain. Not good. Retreat. Retreat quickly. Rumble. 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 Looking at Lin Ray, who was rushing at them with the illusory spirit bloodfire, the ghost soldiers and demonic beasts were completely panicked at this moment. Especially the ghost soldiers. The moment the ball of flame appeared, their souls trembled and were frightened. In this regard, they knew that this kind of flame could kill them. Moreover, it was the kind of death that could not be resurrected. At this moment, they were all panicking. None of the ghost soldiers wanted to die. At this moment, the ghost soldiers and demonic beasts began to frantically flee down the mountain. Sigh. It seems that this group of ghost soldiers and demonic beasts are going to die here today. Chapter 602. At this moment, 15 completely believed Xiefeng's words because he felt the murderous intent from his young master. It was so strong that it terrified everyone. Run. Run as fast as you can. At this moment, Lin Ray, who was wrapped in the illusory spirit bloodfire, looked at the demonic beasts and ghost soldiers fleeing down the mountain, and his heart was filled with hatred. Swoosh! Linley's speed had reached an extreme. Just a moment ago, he had passed by the demonic phoenixes and chased after the ghost soldiers and monster beasts that were fleeing down the mountain. Linger and since I can't save you, I'll let this group of ignorant things die with you. I want to warn the world that those who touch my reverse scale will be killed without mercy. Thinking in his heart, he used his divine sense to observe them fleeing in front of him. At this moment, under everyone's gaze, his speed doubled once again. This guy is crazy. He can easily empty the spiritual chi in his body. At that time, he'll be in trouble. At this moment, Xiefeng, who had been observing Lin Ray, saw that Lin Ray's speed had increased by another level. Suddenly, her expression changed greatly, and she whispered in a low voice. What? 15, who was beside her, was shocked when he heard Xiefeng's words. Without waiting for others to react, he released his cultivation and instantly increased his speed to the extreme, chasing after Lin Ray. Young master, you must be okay. Please be okay. At this moment, 15, who was chasing after Lin Ray, prayed in his heart, and his face was full of worry. This guy, 15's action only lasted for a moment. He did not expect that he would let 15 leave in such a short time. Regarding this, Xiefeng's face was full of helplessness. Let's go. Protect your master. Don't let anything happen to him. Yes, yes, yes. At this moment, the three Ghost Kings naturally would not listen to Xiefeng's order. However, they were naturally worried about Lin Rei's comfort. Then, they heard Xiefeng's words. The three of them immediately unleashed their cultivation and chased after him. It had to be said that a half-sage was a half-sage. Their speed was faster than a monarch god and emperor god. The three of them moved and caught up to Lin Rei in a short while. The three Ghost Kings who caught up to Lin Rei didn't stop him. Instead, they followed him and quietly guarded him. As for Xiefeng, she naturally came to 15's side and said in a helpless tone, "Hey kid, can you not be so anxious? You're always like this. How old are you? Even if you're not tired, I'm tired." Looking at Xiefeng, 15 ignored her. As for what she said, 15 didn't respond. Immediately, he released his cultivation again and increased his speed. Just like that, a chase began. Die! At this moment, Lin Rei finally caught up with the ghost soldiers and demonic beasts. Looking at them, Lin Rei showed no mercy. Immediately, he brandished his Chaos Dragon Spear. Ow! 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 At the same time, the moment the Chaos Dragon Spear appeared, 9 Azure Dragons appeared above Lin Rei's head. They seemed to have received Lin Rei's order. The moment the 9 Azure Dragons appeared, they charged towards the escaping demonic beasts and ghost soldiers. As for Lin Rei, the moment he caught up with them, the Chaos Dragon Spear in his hand moved rapidly. The Silent Thunder Spear art, the Azura Spear art, the Azura Sword art, the Carefree Sword mantra. In this moment, all sorts of battle techniques and spells, as long as they could kill, were being used by Lin Li. Especially when he reached the middle stage God Emperor realm, he could use these combat techniques more easily. Furthermore, the power had reached a level that made people speechless. At this moment, Lin Rei's bombardment would kill hundreds or thousands of demonic beasts and ghost soldiers with every move. Regarding this, the three Ghost Kings who were following by the side were completely shocked. Previously, they only had an understanding of Xiefeng's strength. But this time, they were able to clearly see their master's cultivation base and his own combat strength. Not only them, even Xiefeng behind them was the same. This was the first time Lin Rei fought a real battle. Seeing such a crazy and emotionless killing, Xiefeng frowned at this moment. We can't let him continue killing like this. If this goes on, the karma will be more serious. This will have a huge drawback for him to break through to the Saint realm in the future. Then what should we do? At this moment, 15 heard this and asked with a face full of worry. What should we do? I also want to know what to do. He is your young master. Don't you know his temper? Who could stop him now unless... Seeing 15's concerned look, Xiefeng roared at him. However, Amen? Unless? Unless what? When 15 heard Xiefeng say unless, he knew that Xiefeng must have a solution. Haha, unless we use force. Only then can we calm him down. Ugh. 15 was taken aback. Then, he rolled his eyes and said, Aren't you talking nonsense? But young master is in such a state. If you use force, he will be in a worse state when he wakes up. This won't work either. Xiefeng stepped aside speechlessly. There was nothing she could do. However, no one was resting at this moment. The sacred mountain behind them had begun to fill with bloody flames. The raging flames began to spread down the mountain. It was so fast that everywhere it passed, not even a blade of grass grew. However, even though everything that could burn on the mountain had been burned away, the illusory spirit Bloodfire did not seem to have any intention of stopping. At this moment, no one noticed this strange scene. At this moment, the killing on the battlefield was getting more and more intense. Azura, hell was no longer enough to satisfy the current scene. Rivers of blood flowed. Mountains of corpses and seas of blood flowed. At this moment, compared to this battlefield, it was simply dwarfed. Burn, burn, let the illusory spirit Bloodfire spread throughout the ghost realm. Ha ha! What? What? Right now, Linley's brazen words caused the demonic phoenix, 15, and the 3 ghost kings behind him to be stunned. Let the entire ghost realm burn? This wasn't a joke. If he really did that, would the thick earth let it go? Would the holy realm not intervene? Would the Tao ancestor not punish him? At this moment, Xiefeng finally realized that she was being too soft-hearted. Although she didn't think of herself as a good person, she didn't want to see the billions of people in the ghost realm and the territory of the ghost realm destroyed. If she really did that, not only would the thick earth and the holy realm not let Lin Rei go, but even the Tao ancestor and Tendo wouldn't let Lin Rei go. The great Tao wouldn't let him go either. So forget it, boy. For your own good, I'll offend you. Xiefeng didn't inform 15 when she decided to take action. She believed that 15 would support her decision. Swoosh! The demonic phoenix transformed into a streak of fiery light, instantly arriving by Linley's side. Without wasting any time, it immediately unleashed all of its power. Xiefeng was shocked by Lin Rei's means. She was even more afraid of the inexplicable flame on his body. Therefore, she was afraid that she wouldn't be able to stop Lin Rei without using all her cultivation. Yes, but in the end, Xiefeng was a saint while Lin Rei was a middle divine emperor. The gap between them couldn't be made up by external things. At this moment, Lin Rei, who had entered demonized mode, turned the Chaos Dragon Spear around and rushed towards Xiefeng after sensing a huge force. At this moment, the illusory spirit blood fire spread over the Chaos Dragon Spear. The power was several times stronger than before. Haha, come on. For you, I have no choice but to do this. Looking at Lin Rei, who was rushing toward her, Xiefeng didn't hold back. Suddenly, the word suppress rushed out from her mouth. It was so fast that it was like a fleeting glimpse. With a boom, the word suppress appeared above Lin Rei's head. Lin Rei froze on the spot. As for the Chaos Dragon Spear in his hand and the illusory spirit blood fire on it, they fell to the ground the moment the word suppress appeared. The moment the illusory spirit blood fire on it left Lin Rei's hand, it dissipated. Ow, oh, oh, oh. At this moment, the ghost soldiers and monsters who were running away turned around and didn't run away when they saw that the murderous demon was stopped. In their eyes, Xiefeng saw hatred and fear. You guys really don't know what's good for you. Now that the killer is suppressed, you guys are still thinking about revenge instead of escaping. Looking at them, Xiefeng knew what they were thinking. As expected, after being exposed by the evil phoenix, whether it was the Yao beasts or the ghost soldiers, all of them wailed and wept. Venerable One, it's not that we want revenge. Look at our companions who were killed. In less than half a day, hundreds of thousands of them have died. Tell me, with this kind of revenge, That's right. My Monster Beast clan has also lost hundreds of thousands of clansmen. Shut up. Hearing their words, Xiefeng said without holding back, be content. This time you guys came to die. Also, you have to remember that I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for him. I don't want him to bear too much karma, so you should feel lucky. If not, I'll release him now and let him kill as he pleases. What? Hearing this, the leaders of the 2 clans immediately frowned and began to ponder. It was obvious that they were in a dilemma. When they thought about how many of their people were killed, they couldn't help but want to rush up and kill the imprisoned killer god. Looking at them, the evil phoenix didn't show them any mercy. It said with a cold and murderous tone, I'll count to 3. If you don't leave by then, I'll kill you all. If you guys don't leave now, don't blame me for not showing mercy. Chapter 603. Venerable One, you won. Before the 2 leaders could finish speaking, Xiefeng had already said one. Instantly, the 2 leaders became even more anxious. Senior, you can't do this. We're dead. 2. Looking at them, the evil phoenix ignored them and unhurriedly said, 2. Senior, looking at Xiefeng's determined look, the 2 leaders' eyes were filled with hesitation. They looked up at their dead clansmen, then looked at their clansmen who were still alive behind them. Finally, they made a choice in their hearts. 3. Senior, we'll leave now. We'll leave now. Don't count down. Hearing the evil phoenix count down to 3, He hurriedly agreed to the evil phoenix's request. Haha, you should have said so earlier. You made me waste so much time here. Really? Hearing their choice, Xiefeng smiled. But to be honest, if they didn't agree, Xiefeng wouldn't have done anything. After all, she had used all her cultivation to suppress Lin Ray. If she had to divert her attention to kill them, it would be a little difficult. After all, Lin Ray had gone crazy at this moment. The first time was fine, but if he broke free, it would be difficult to catch him again. Well, Venerable One, we'll take our leave first. Before leaving, the leaders of the two clans bowed to the evil phoenix and the three ghost kings. Then they led their clansmen away. Sigh, the war is finally over. Seeing them leave, everyone heaved a sigh of relief. A sense of fatigue instantly spread throughout their bodies. Yes, that's right. At this moment, 15 walked over from afar. When he saw that Linley had been suppressed by the evil phoenix, a guilty look appeared in his eyes. Young master, we had no choice. I hope you won't be angry when you wake up. Looking at 15's behavior, Xiefeng was completely helpless. All right, don't say any more. Even if you say it, he can't hear you now. F*CK. Not good. The holy mountain is on fire. At that moment, Gui Li's scream was heard. Immediately, everyone looked towards the holy mountain and saw that there was a raging fire burning on the holy mountain. Even though there were no more trees or anything that could burn on the mountain, the blood-red flames were not extinguished and were still burning. Looks like we can't stay here anymore. Let's go. This brat came here with the intention of finding his wife, but now his hopes have been dashed. There's no point in staying here. It's just that this kid has made such a ruckus. I'm afraid that the ghost realm will not welcome him in the future. Hearing this, 15 said, Yes, young master came here to find a young lady and his young master. Now everything has become a dream. Instead of staying here and being sad, it's better to leave and return to the god realm. As for this place, if it's burned, then so be it. 15 agreed with Xiefeng. However, as they spoke, the three ghost kings hesitated. You? What's wrong? Sensing the hesitation of the three ghost kings, Xiefeng quickly asked. After all, they were Lin Rei's subordinates now. Hearing Xiefeng's words, Guili stepped forward and said sadly, Senior, there's something you don't know. We wanted to use the reincarnation mirror to enter the god realm. Moreover, in the entire ghost realm, other than the reincarnation mirror, there's only one way left to go through the river Styx. Isn't it fine as long as there's a way? Why do you have to? Seeing how Xiefeng spoke so casually, Guili smiled bitterly and explained. Sigh, if only it was that easy. There are some very powerful beings guarding the road to the river Styx. With our current strength, I'm afraid that's not right. Young master came from the road to the river Styx. Moreover, young master has seen the big shot that you mentioned. What? Guili, who was talking to Xiefeng, was shocked when he heard 15's words. His eyes widened, and he looked at 15 in disbelief. It's true. Young master really came from the road to the river Styx. Although he encountered some dangers on the road to the river Styx, they've all been resolved. I believe that it shouldn't be a problem for him to leave through the road to the river Styx. Moreover, there's such a big Buddha beside him. No matter how strong the road to the river Styx is, can it be stronger than the Phoenix clan leader who survived from the untainted land? The three ghost kings, who had lost all hope, heard 15's words. The despair in their eyes disappeared at this moment and was replaced by hope. All right, let's go. Isn't it just entering the god realm? Look at all of you frowning. Looking at them, Xiefeng said with a smile. Then, she put the suppressed Lin Ray on her back. As for the Chaos Dragon Spear, it was temporarily kept in the storage ring by 15. Let's go to the entrance of the road to the river Styx. Hearing this, the three ghost kings were excited. Entering the god realm had always been their greatest wish, and now it had really come true. Okay, I'll lead the way. The three of them were excited. They soared into the sky and headed toward the entrance of the road to the river Styx at an extremely fast speed. Looking at the three of them, Xiefeng smiled and glanced at 15. Then, the two of them looked at each other and flew up together, chasing after the three ghost kings. What they did not know was that because of Lin Ray, after that time, the fire on the Ghost Realm Sacred Mountain had never subsided. It burned with a raging fire all year round. Whoosh, whoosh. In the sky, 5 streams of light instantly streaked across the sky like shooting stars. They were so fast that they could not be seen clearly. How far is it? It's not far. It's just ahead. We'll be there in a while. Hearing this, Xiefeng nodded and sped up. Hee, it seems that you're in a hurry. At this moment, 15, who was following beside Xiefeng, heard her words and immediately made fun of her. Hee, nonsense. The one on my back is a ticking time bomb. It's not certain when it will explode. What do you think? Can I not be faster? With that, Xiefeng did not speak anymore and fell silent. Time passed quickly. It had been more than a month since they came out of the Sacred Mountain. In this month, the 5 of them did not dare to rest. They ran all the way because they were afraid that Lin Ray would suddenly explode and destroy the entire Ghost Realm. We're here. At this moment, Ghostly, who was in front of them, shouted in surprise. Then, his body was seen rushing toward the pile of rocks below. This is the road to the river Styx? Are you sure? Looking at such a desolate place, Xiefeng asked in a daze. Yes, this is it. Because it's the road to the river Styx, not a single blade of grass grows around here. Livestock also don't dare to come close. In response to Xiefeng's words, Ghostly came to the front of a cliff. In an instant, he flung out a stream of energy. The instant there was nothing on the cliff, a vortex appeared. Damn! Looking at this scene, Xiefeng cursed. Then, she revealed a surprised expression. Let's go, Senior. This is the road to the river Styx. Once we enter, we will meet that mysterious existence. Hearing this, Xiefeng rolled her eyes at everyone. Then, she stepped into the vortex helplessly. Let's go. Follow closely. Seeing Xiefeng disappear into the vortex, 15 said to the 3 ghost monarchs and quickly followed. Let's go. We're finally out. At this moment, looking at the road leading to the divine realm in front of them, the 3 of them were very excited. Yes, let's go. Having said that, the 3 of them looked at each other and stepped into the vortex resolutely. The moment the 3 of them disappeared, the vortex on the cliff disappeared instantly, as though it had never appeared. Woo, woo, woo. At this moment, at the vortex at the end of the road to the river Styx, a chilly wind blew. In addition to the broken limbs and bones floating on the river surface on both sides of the road, the scene was hair-raising and chilling. Phew! At this moment, a vortex that was exactly the same as the one that was triggered by Ghost Li's cultivation stood there. Suddenly, Xiefeng, who was covered in undying flames, walked out of the calm vortex. On her back was the suppressed Lin Ray. Phew! 15 and the 3 Ghost Kings followed closely behind. When they came out of the whirlpool and saw the scene before them, they froze on the spot. Wow, not bad. I've lived for so long, and this is the first time I've seen such a place. Yeah, tisk. But compared to my Blood Sea, this place is still a far cry. Ugh. Hearing 15's words, Xiefeng instantly looked at him with disdain. Both of you, let's not talk about it. Let's get out of here first and wait for a safe place before you continue. At this moment, the 3 ghost monarchs looked at 15 and Xiefeng in front of them. In order to not alarm the powerful figures here, Ghostly hurriedly stepped forward to dissuade them. Oomph. Hearing Ghost Li's words, 15 snorted coldly at Evil Phoenix. He didn't say anything else and fell silent. All right, let's go. Looking at 15's expression, Xiefeng chuckled and then spread her wings and flew toward the exit. 15 and the rest followed behind. Just when they thought that their journey would be smooth, suddenly, after flying for a short while, the road to the underworld shook and the rivers on both sides of the road began to boil. Go back to where you came from. I don't want to do anything. Once the mysterious voice appeared, the surrounding sound of the great path was heard. When the 3 ghost monarchs heard this voice, their faces turned pale. Sigh. It seems like they knew that the words, "Go back to where you came from," were referring to them. Instantly, they sighed in their hearts. Stop pretending. I want to protect them. What are you going to do about it? Just after the mysterious voice appeared, CF Feng spoke with disdain. Her tone was domineering and made the three ghost monarchs behind her extremely agitated. Phoenix Clan, I didn't expect that after so many years, you still haven't been wiped out? Who are you? Hearing this, the evil Phoenix immediately became vigilant. It wasn't strange for her to know that she was from the Phoenix Clan. After all, her main body was here. However, when she said that they weren't all dead yet, the evil Phoenix felt strange. Chapter 604. It doesn't matter who I am. As I said, go back to where you came from. Don't make me say more. The moment he said this, the evil Phoenix's expression became gloomy. His eyes were filled with killing intent as he looked around. I advise you not to. The untainted age is over. This is my place. Moreover, do you really think the Phoenix Clan is very powerful? Back then, the Phoenix Clan was exterminated. I didn't expect that there were still fish that escaped the net. At this moment, CF Feng felt more and more uncomfortable. She had searched all the memories of this mysterious man in her mind. However, there was no information about this man. CF Feng became even more vigilant. CF Feng, ignore him. Hurry up. My young master can't wait any longer. While listening to the conversation between CF Feng and the mysterious man, 15, who was standing aside, hurriedly stepped forward and said to her, Shura clan? How? How is it possible? Why is the Shura clan also? 15 was shocked when he heard the mysterious man's identity. He didn't expect that the mysterious man could tell that he was a member of the Shura clan at a glance. However, when he heard the mysterious man's identity, he was full of surprise. 15 was puzzled. Who are you? Since you know our identities, I'm very curious. What's your relationship with Ho2 that you can be here? Finally, the mysterious man fell silent. At this moment, sensing the fluctuation of a weak aura in the air, CF Feng was puzzled. She knew about Ho2's day. She was transformed from the 12 drops of tainted blood left by Pangu when he created the world. However, when the 12 ancestors of sorcery appeared, she was already suppressed. Okay, you can go now. Remember, don't come back after you leave the road to the underworld. The mysterious man, who had been silent for a long time, spoke again. However, this time, to everyone's surprise, he asked them to leave. Hearing this, 15 was sure that the mysterious man must be related to Ho2 and also to the Shura clan. Thinking of this, 15 began to search for such a person in his mind. However, it was a pity that he didn't fully recover his memory, so he couldn't find him. However, since he could leave, he did not hesitate. He said to the three ghost kings behind him, Let's go. After leaving the ghost realm, you can't come back. Yes, we will remember it. At this moment, the three ghost kings felt their bodies relax. Seeing the results of the battle, they were shocked. They had heard of the people and races of the Great Desolate Era. Seeing that 15, who was only a late divine lord, was actually from the Azura race, the three ghost kings immediately changed their attitude and became respectful. Hey, all right, let's go. Seeing the obvious changes in the three of them, 15 ignored them and turned to look at CF Feng, who had a confused look on her face. 15 glared at her and said, Let's go. Do you want to stay here? Hearing 15's words, CF Feng snorted coldly. Then, she spread her wings and rushed toward the exit of the road to the underworld. However, at this moment, CF Feng's mind was tangled with the question of who this mysterious person was. Along the way, everyone was thinking about their own matters. For example, the three ghost kings were all wondering why each of these people's backgrounds was so shocking. As for 15, he was thinking about the same thing as CF Feng. However, he thought more. After all, before he was sealed, Ho2 had already merged with the 6 paths of reincarnation to create the underworld and the ghost realm. Time passed by slowly. Soon, the group arrived at the exit of the road to the underworld. I didn't expect the god realm to have such a formation. At this moment, when they arrived at the exit, CF Feng had already felt that this place was sealed by a powerful seal. Yes, The seal here is indeed very strong. However, I don't think it will be difficult for you. 15 naturally sensed the formation at the exit. As someone who had survived since the prehistoric times, he naturally knew about this formation. Therefore, after hearing Xie Feng's words, he went with the flow and threw the task of breaking the formation to her. Tisk, looking at 15, Xie Feng smiled proudly. Then she said, "Of course I can do it, but this is a formation to seal the road to the underworld. If I break it just like that, the consequences will be, what's the big deal? Just set up another formation. After all, you are a survivor from the prehistoric times and are also the leader of the Phoenix tribe. This should be a piece of cake for you." Ugh. Looking at 15, even the dumbest person could understand the meaning behind his words, not to mention Xie Feng. "You're really something. How dare you use words to stop me?" "Yes, I'm using words to stop you. So what? If you can't do it, then forget it. Anyway, this will damage the reputation of the Phoenix tribe and not my blood seas. You." This sentence had blocked her path. If she didn't do it, it would only prove that there was no one in the Phoenix tribe and that they were incompetent. If she did it, then, thinking up to this point, the evil Phoenix could be said to be in a difficult position. He was in a difficult position. Little guy, you want to fight with me? Aren't you just one?" Looking at Xie Feng's dilemma, 15 felt very happy and comfortable. All his previous resentment disappeared at this moment. Time passed in Xie Feng's silence. As for the three Ghost Kings, they could only stand aside beside these two powerful beings who had survived since the prehistoric times. Ugh! Ah! Suddenly, Lin Rei, who was on Xie Feng's back, let out a low growl and entered everyone's ears. "Damn, it can't be!" Hearing this voice, Xie Feng frowned and quickly sensed the formation that was suppressing Lin Rei. Suddenly, Xie Feng inhaled a mouthful of cold air. Her face was full of shock. When 15 saw Xie Feng's expression, he knew that there might be a problem with the formation. Sure enough, just as 15 thought of this, Xie Feng's words came. "This guy is cracking the formation. Looking at his speed, it won't take long for him to break out of the formation. When that time comes, suppressing him will be, damn, then why are you still so long-winded? Hurry up and get out. Madam is outside. Maybe she can help young master get better." Seeing that Xie Feng was still not moving, 15 hurriedly said to her, "You? Okay, I'll break." Although she was a little unhappy with the trap set by 15, when she thought of Lin Rei lying on her back and the unknown flame on his body, Xie Feng immediately agreed. That's right." Seeing that Xie Feng had agreed, 15 smiled happily. Then, he stood aside and made enough space for Xie Feng. As for the three Ghost Kings, they naturally followed 15 and stepped back. Seeing what 15 and the others did, Xie Feng snorted coldly. Instantly, she released her cultivation. A huge wind curse appeared instantly and bombarded the formation above them. Bam! Rumble! The wind curse collided with the formation. Instantly, be it the yellow springs where the evil Phoenix was, or the ancient race beings who were living above the formation, all of them began to tremble violently. What's going on? What's going on? What the evil Phoenix didn't know was that because of her actions, everyone in the ancient clan was roused. Even those old monsters who were in seclusion all came out of their seclusion without hesitation when they felt the earthquake. What's going on? At this moment, an extremely beautiful woman walked out of her room. Her eyes were filled with doubt as she called out to one of the ancient race tribesmen. It's missing." When the ancient tribe member was stopped by Ying, he quickly smiled and bowed. Then, he replied, "It's like this. I don't know what's going on, but just now, there was an earthquake. The elders in the tribe investigated and found out that someone was attacking the formation below." "So what? Someone is attacking the formation below?" Then, Brother Lei. After hearing the ancient tribe member's words, Ying suddenly thought of her husband who had entered the ghost world and became excited. Looking at Ying's reaction, the ancient tribe member looked at his fellow tribesmen who were walking towards the center of the formation and said goodbye to Ying. "Then, I'm sorry, Miss Ying. I have to go first." Without waiting for Ying's response, the ancient clan member dashed toward the center of the formation. leaving Ying alone with an excited expression on her face. Yes, yes, it's definitely Brother Lei. Brother Lei is definitely back. At this moment, the more Ying thought about it, the more she felt that this matter had something to do with her husband, Lin Ray. Then, she transmitted a message to her male brother and the others. She could not wait any longer and walked towards the center of the formation. Brother Lei, young master. At this moment, everyone who received Ying's message was jolted awake from their cultivation. Without saying a word, they broke through the door and rushed towards the center of the formation. Xie Feng did not know that because of her actions, the entire ancient tribe was in an uproar at this moment. Haha, you can't do it, Xie Feng. This formation is not like an ordinary formation. You have to use all your strength to attack it. Otherwise, it won't work. If you don't want to do anything, then don't force me. Be careful. I'll burn you with the undying flame. When that happens, I won't care if you're from the Azura tribe or not. Air. Hearing this, 15's eyes revealed a trace of fear, and he retreated to the side. Then, he closed his eyes and did not say a word. Looking at 15's actions, Xie Feng snorted coldly. Then, her cultivation base increased rapidly. At this moment, Xie Feng followed 15's instructions and raised her cultivation base to its peak. Then, 2 fireballs appeared in an instant. Break for me. The moment the fireballs appeared, Xie Feng roared and flapped her wings towards the fireballs. Whoosh! The fireball instantly disappeared in front of everyone and rushed toward the array above their heads with great speed. Bam! Chapter 605. A loud sound rang in everyone's ears. At this moment, the ancient tribe members, Shadow, and the rest had already gathered in the center of the spell formation. However, what they didn't expect was that as soon as they arrived, they felt an extremely terrifying power that immediately fixed everyone on the spot, making them unable to move. However, what happened next left everyone dumbfounded. With a loud bang, the moment they were suppressed, the formation in the center suddenly exploded, and a huge crater appeared before everyone's eyes. Oh! At this moment, the moment the huge pit appeared, a phoenix cry came from the deep pit. Whoosh! A fiery red figure rushed out of the huge pit and rushed into the air. When it reached a certain height, it stopped in the air and stood proudly, looking down. Whoosh! 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 Then another 4 figures rushed out of the deep pit and came to the side of the fiery red figure in the air. How did this happen? At this moment, the current ancient tribe leader looked at the huge pit in front of him. He witnessed the destruction of the spell formation with his own eyes. His face turned pale. Of course, other than him, everyone else looked up at the people standing in the air. Haha, this is the realm of the gods. The spiritual energy is so thin. At this moment, the fiery red figure in the air felt the spiritual energy in the surroundings the moment it rushed out. It frowned, and its face was filled with displeasure. All right, this is not the real realm of the gods. This is a forbidden area of the realm of the gods, Death Canyon. You can only enter the realm of the gods after you leave this place. The person who spoke was none other than Xie Feng and the rest who broke out of the spell formation. At this moment, 15, who was standing at the side, heard Xie Feng's words and quickly explained to her. Oh, I was wondering. The realm of the gods is only one realm away from the holy world. It's impossible for the spiritual energy to be so thin. All right, stop talking. Hurry up and seal this place. Otherwise, those dishonest fellows from the world of spirits and souls will come out. Looking at Xie Feng's hesitant look, 15 said to her directly. All right, got it. After saying that, Xie Feng's body instantly disappeared. When she was seen again, she was already beside the huge pit on the ground, with the fire as the medium and the earth as the foundation. Gather the spirits of the 4 directions and seal the heavens. Form the formation. With a hua sound, Xie Feng came to the side of the deep pit and muttered 2 words. Suddenly, a fiery red energy rushed out and fell directly on top of the deep pit. At this moment, a miracle occurred. The moment the fiery red energy appeared above the deep pit, the originally huge pit began to slowly recover. And this scene had already ended before anyone could react because all of this had happened in an instant. Not bad. Your formation is stronger than the previous ones. I believe that even if you don't use a human to guard it, only a saint-level array master or a saint-level sage would be able to break it. At this moment, 15, who stood in the air and watched everything that Siefeng did, disappeared into thin air. Then, he disappeared in the air. When he reappeared, he was next to the evil phoenix. He smiled and complimented it. Thank you for your help. I don't need you to tell me that. This formation was used to suppress the undying volcano, so it's a piece of cake for it to suppress a small world entrance. In response to 15's compliment, Siefeng accepted it and explained the previous uses of this formation. You're really something. You actually used your trump card, 15 said and couldn't help but admire her. All right, let's not talk about these useless things. Hurry up and take your young master down. This kid is really something. If this was in the prehistoric era, who would dare to do so? Who would have a right to do so? 15 chuckled and went up to Lin Ray's back. He tiptoed and removed Lin Ray from his back and placed him on the ground. Who are you? How dare you destroy the formation that my ancient race has been guarding for generations? At this moment, the ancient race leader returned to his senses and bellowed at Siefeng and 15 with immense murderous intent. Ignoring him, they did not even look at the clan leader. The two of them merely looked at Linley, who was sitting on the ground, with concern. Since you're seeing that the two of them ignored him, the ancient race leader was infuriated and was about to attack them. However, just as he was about to attack, he saw Lin Ray, who was protected by 15. Little Ray? Little Ray? At this moment, Siefeng, who didn't intend to care about the ancient race leader, frowned when she heard him calling out to Lin Ray so intimately. You would you do to Xiaolei? Speak. How dare you? At this moment, the leader of the Gu family saw that Linley was sitting on the ground without moving at all and had no reaction at all. Instantly, he had a bad premonition in his heart. Taking a step forward, he released his cultivation of the half-saint realm and was prepared to attack. How dare you? At this moment, Ghost Li and the other two standing at the side sensed the aura of the ancient race leader. Then, he hurriedly stepped in front of Linley and unleashed his cultivation base. How? How is this possible? 3 Sage-to-be realm cultivators? The ancient race leader, who was also a Sage-to-be realm cultivator, could sense that the 3 of them were Sage-to-be realm cultivators like him. However, what shocked him was that all 3 of them were Sage-to-be realm cultivators, and they attacked at the same time. Just like this, just as the battle was about to break out, 15, who had been silent all this while, spoke. Don't panic. I'm the shadow guard of the Xuanzong Sect. I'm the bodyguard of my young master, Lin Ray. I'm here today to look for a young lady. As soon as he said that, Ing, who was frozen in place by the evil phoenix's cultivation, became anxious. When the ancient race leader heard 15's words, he looked at the people who were brought here by Lin Ray. At this moment, he saw that they were agitated but couldn't move. He knew that what 15 said was true. Moreover, he had seen those mysterious people when Lin Ray was here. If that's the case, please release all my disciples. They're all frozen in place by you. 15 turned to look at Siefeng. Understanding, Siefeng nodded. In an instant, she retracted her cultivation that was suppressing everyone. Brother Lei, young master, Brother Lei master. At this moment, more than 20 people rushed over from afar. They were so fast that everyone was shocked. Even the clan leader of the Gu clan was shocked by this scene. He had already checked the strength of Ing and the others before they came. At that time, they were at most in the divine ancestor realm. However, it had only been a short period of time since then. Now, when he checked again, he found out their cultivation levels. Apart from each of them, the rest were all at the peak Emperor realm. It was as though they could break through to the immortal venerable realm at any time. Seeing this, the ancient race leader was puzzled. However, He wasn't the only one. Even Shadow and the others couldn't understand. The only one who understood was Lin Ray. At this moment, the first one who rushed to Lin Ray's side was Shadow. When Shadow arrived, 15 quickly bowed and greeted a young lady. Hearing this, the three Ghost Kings also bowed respectfully to Shadow. A young lady. However, Shadow acted as though she didn't hear them. She ignored the greetings of 15 and the others. She quickly squatted down and looked at Lin Ray. Brother Lay, what's wrong with you? Wake up. Don't make Inger worry. Brother Lay, wake up. The scene was very lively. Everyone was discussing the people who had broken out of the formation. Shadow was the only one who was crying when she saw that Lin Ray didn't have any reaction. As for Xiefeng, she was speechless when she saw Shadow. She then retreated to one side. She didn't interfere with what was happening. Brother Lay, what's wrong with Brother Lay? At this moment, the young man had also come to Lin Ray's side. When he saw Lin Ray's current state, the young man asked 15 calmly. Sigh. The young master originally went to save the first madam and young master Jean In, but in the end, for some reason, he didn't manage to save them. Thus, the young master was once again heartbroken over his loss. In the end, we didn't expect that the young master would turn into a demon and start wantonly slaughtering the creatures around the Ghost Realm's sacred mountain. He killed almost 1 million demonic beasts and ghost soldiers. In the end, the young master even said that he would bury the entire Ghost Realm with him. None of the people present were weak. After hearing 15's explanation of what happened, they were all shocked. They didn't expect the person in front of them to be so fierce and powerful. When the clan leader of the ancient tribe heard 15 say that he couldn't save Jean Ling and Jean In, tears flowed down from his eyes. His eyes were filled with sorrow. Then can we, Xiefeng, who was standing at the side, knew what Shadow was going to say. She immediately said, Yes, I hope you can persuade him. Can I really? What if, yes? Besides, isn't this the solution you proposed? Besides, it's not a good idea to keep suppressing him like this. Instead of this, it's better to give it a try. If it doesn't work, we can just suppress him again. Hearing this, 15, who was still a little worried, finally nodded and agreed. Okay, but you have to keep an eye on him. What if young master, I know, you're a grown man. Why are you being so wishy-washy? Can you still do it? Hearing Xiefeng's words, 15 was at a loss for words. However, at this moment, Xiefeng flapped her wings. Lin Ray, who was about to quietly lie on the ground, suddenly stood up. The evil phoenix, which had been preparing to suppress Linley once more, was just about to attack upon seeing Linley's actions. But then, a shocking scene occurred. Linley, who had stood up, took 2 steps at a time and came before the clan leader. With a plop, he knelt down and kowtowed. I'm sorry. I didn't do it. Chapter 606. This was a scene that no one had expected. Even the leader himself did not expect Lin Ray to act in such a manner. At this moment, the leader looked at Lin Ray with grief in his heart. He was already sobbing his eyes out. The leader of the ancient tribe could no longer care about anything else in front of everyone. Now that his loved one was dead, how could he continue to be the supreme leader of the ancient tribe? Grandfather, I was wrong. I shouldn't have left Ling alone in the sect. I shouldn't have given you hope. All of this was caused by me. Grandfather, please punish me. Even if you kill me, I won't have any complaints. That way, I could go accompany Ling and the others. Kneeling on the ground, Linley's heart was very clear. He had already prepared himself to die. Husband, at this moment, a woman's trembling voice came from behind. Lin Ray was blind, but he was not deaf. The moment he heard this voice, Lin Ray's body trembled. His face was filled with guilt. Back then, half of the reason why he married Ing was because of the system mission. Now that he thought about it, he felt extremely guilty towards her. Husband, if you die, what should I do? How am I going to be alone? At this moment, Shadow had already arrived behind Linley. Tears streamed down her face like a waterfall. Ice. Ing, if I die, you can wait for the arrival of the Xuanzong sect. Then, you can lead the Xuanzong sect to stabilize the god world. No, I don't want to Xuanzong Sect. The leader of the ancient tribe, heard the conversation between Lin Rei and Ying. Looking at the two of them, he felt extremely helpless. Did he hate Lin Rei? Indeed, he did. However, when he thought about how his granddaughter had married Lin Fan, her fate was already sealed. As the saying went, Tendo is good at reincarnation. No one has their own fate. As the leader of the ancient tribe, he understood this very well. Little A, get up first. Ling Er's death is not entirely your fault. At this moment, the clan leader of the ancient race hurriedly reached out to help Lin Rei up. His actions were gentle and doting. Grandpa, at this moment, upon hearing the words of the ancient race leader, Lin Rei was crying so hard that he could no longer make a single sound. His entire body was trembling as well. Get up. Looking at Lin Rei, the old man used his spiritual energy and pulled Lin Rei up from the ground. Everyone has their own destiny. Back then, the reason why this old man went to the profound sky continent was because I wanted to change Ling Er's fate. Obviously, I succeeded. Back then, I divined that Ling Er would only live to be 80 years old. However, you let Ling Er live for such a long time. Hearing this, Lin Rei cried even harder, not for anything else, but for his wife and son. Sigh. All right, let's not talk about this anymore. However, your friend has messed with the ancient tribe quite a bit. Previously, he was doting on Lin Fan, but in the next moment, he started to calculate. Lin Rei knew that the old man did this because he did not want to linger on the matter of Jinling. Lin Rei was even more aware of the pain in the old man's heart at this moment. However, in order to not let the old man feel heartache, Lin Rei immediately went along with it and said, "All right, Grandpa, the spell formation is broken. It's just as well that you all migrate. Anyway, there are no treasures here." Hearing this, the old man's expression changed, and he said in a deep voice, "What are you talking about? Our ancient tribe has been here for a long time. Furthermore, our mission is to guard the passage to the ghost realm. So, there's no need to say such things in the future." Hearing these words, Lin Rei was stunned. He did not expect the old man to be so stubborn. Sigh. Grandpa, it's true. Actually, you don't have to guard here all the time. I've already walked through the Yellow Spring. There are dangers everywhere. It's impossible for people from the ghost realm to come here through the Yellow Spring. Moreover, there's a very powerful existence at the end of the Yellow Spring. That mysterious person's strength is not inferior to a sage. What a sage! Hearing this, whether it was the old man or the people present, they were all shocked. Of course, the three ghost kings were the most shocked. Previously, when they heard 15 say that Lin Rei went to the ghost realm from the Yellow Spring, they did not believe it. Now, they completely believed it. Interesting. At this moment, Xie Feng heard Lin Rei's words. Then, she walked over from the side and said to him, "Kid, you have a lot of secrets. That mysterious person's cultivation is very strong. Even I don't have the ability to do so." Hearing this, Linley didn't give a direct answer. "All right, let's talk about this later. Evil Phoenix, I believe you should be able to set up a formation here, right?" You and 15 have bad morals. Don't worry, the formation has been set up. Even a godly venerable might not be able to break this formation. Even a sage would have to depend on their level. A low-level sage would not be able to do it. So be careful. While speaking, Evil Phoenix couldn't help but glance at 15 from the corner of his eyes. He then said to Linley, Hearing this, Lin Rei smiled and then said to the old man, "Grandpa, you heard it too. Besides, what's the use of you guarding this place? The spiritual energy here is so thin. Even if you don't think for yourself, you should think for your clan. Do you want the ancient clan to guard this place until they are wiped out?" As he said this, Lin Rei released his divine senses and scanned all the ancient clan members around him. Although their cultivation was very strong, Lin Rei could sense that most of the strong cultivators were old. As for the younger generation, their cultivation was not high at all. Sure enough, after hearing Lin Rei's words, the ancient clan leader looked at the surrounding ancient clan members in a daze. His eyes revealed a hint of embarrassment. Husband, your eyes and your hair. Just as everyone was silent, Shadow, who had been observing Linley this entire time, spoke up with a puzzled look on his face. Although his voice wasn't very loud, it was heard by everyone in the surroundings. Suddenly, everyone's eyes gathered on Lin Ray. Previously, they had been observing the surrounding strangers, the destruction of the formation, and Jean Ling's death, so no one noticed it. At this moment, everything returned to calm. At this moment, everyone looked at Lin Ray. Sigh. Feeling the gazes of the surrounding people, Lin Ray chuckled and then explained to Ing, "It's okay. Because of some special reasons, my eyes were blinded. As for my hair, there's no need to make a fuss. It doesn't matter what color my hair is, as long as I'm still me." Not bad. I didn't expect you to say such things. You haven't forgotten what you did in the Ghost Realm before, right? At this moment, Xie Feng's voice came from behind. After hearing that, Lin Ray fell into his memories. Suddenly, horrifying scenes of slaughter appeared in his mind. Looking at the memories, Lin Ray's face was full of shock and panic. Since he remembered all these, he naturally remembered that he wanted to bury the entire Ghost Realm with Jean Ling. Thinking of this, Lin Ray couldn't help but shudder with fear. Then, he thanked Xie Feng with an embarrassed face. "Thank you. If it weren't for you, I'm afraid the consequences would be out of control." At least you still have a conscience." Looking at Lin Ray's appearance at this moment, she knew that Lin Ray had completely recovered. Suddenly, she felt relieved. Previously, she was still afraid whether Lin Ray had really recovered. Now, she finally didn't have to worry. "Husband." At this moment, Ing, who was standing at the side, overheard their conversation and heard Linley tell her the reason for his blindness. She immediately stepped forward and hugged his arm, unwilling to let go. Feeling Ying's intention, Lin Ray smiled and touched her hair. Then, he didn't stop her. After the incident with Jean Ling, he knew that nothing was more important than staying with his family. Of course, if he wanted to do all this, he had to have absolute strength. Otherwise, everything would be illusory. "Little Lei, I understand what you said. I agree with your idea. I agree with the migration of the clan." As soon as these words came out, the faces of the surrounding ancient clan disciples were full of excited smiles. Some of them were even ready to go out and see the outside world immediately. Divine sense probed everyone's appearance. Lin Ray smiled. The reason why he did this was to help the ancient clan. However, helping the ancient clan was also helping Jean Ling. After all, Jean Ling was a member of the ancient clan. "All right then, Grandpa will head back first. We'll return to the divine world in 2 days. As for the next 2 days, I'll set up a few more arrays on top of this formation so that it can be sealed forever." "Well, okay, you're tired too. Go back." Hearing Lin Ray's words, the ancient clan head waved his hand. As for him, he was also busy with the things he needed to take during the migration. Just like that, the two groups separated. Lin Ray brought everyone back to Ying's place. As for the ancient clan disciples, they started to get busy. The dozens of people in the room were standing there, while Linley sat down on a seat. Using his divine sense to inspect everyone's cultivation levels, a hint of a smile appeared on Linley's face. Naturally, he didn't need to check Ing and the others' cultivation. After all, they were all summoned by him. Their cultivation was directly linked to his. As long as his cultivation increased, their cultivation would definitely increase as well. As for the rest, they weren't directly connected to Linley, nor had they been summoned by him. For example, Linley's younger brother, Lin Tian, and his other disciples. Based on their cultivation bases, Linley could tell that Linley's cultivation bases were quite high. A smile appeared on Linley's face. "Nindi, you're good. We haven't seen each other in such a short time. Your cultivation has already reached the peak of the late stage of the divine ancestor realm." It's okay. It's okay." Hearing Linley mention him, the young man's face was instantly filled with smiles as he spoke modestly. Chapter 607. Lin Ray felt a warmth in his heart as he looked at his younger brother. Then, he looked at Lin Tian, who had been following him since the mysterious heaven continent. Little Tian, have you been well during this time? Yes, young master. I'm fine. I'm just worried about you. Right now, Lin Tian's face was filled with worry. To him, Linley was his everything. Haha, that's good. That's good. Looking at them, a smile appeared on Linley's face. Although he couldn't see, his divine sense was constantly monitoring them. All right, since that's the case, let's disperse. We'll return to the realm of the gods in 2 days. Yes, young master. Hearing Lin Rei's order, the crowd dispersed. Of course, there was no one else except for a few disciples and Ing. Master, hearing the voice of his eldest disciple, Lin Wanyu. Lin Rei laughed and said, "What's wrong, little girl? We haven't seen each other for so long, and you've become so polite." Master, hearing Lin Rei's words, Lin Wanyu was so angry that she stomped her feet. She had wanted to be polite for once, but who knew that Lin Rei would expose her like this? Ahaha! Looking at her, Linley had a bad feeling. He wanted to stand up and run away, but who would have thought that Lin Wanyu would rush to his side and hug his arm, acting like a spoiled child? Master, you haven't seen me for so long. Did you miss me? Did you bring me a gift? Hearing this, Lin Rei suddenly thought of the time when he was in the mysterious heaven continent. Back then, Lin Wanyu was the same as she was now. It was as if she had never changed. That? Yes. How can I not bring you a gift? Saying this, Lin Rei remembered that the goddaughter he met in the world of spirits and souls was still in the system. Suddenly, with a thought, he moved Lin Mei out of the system. Really? That's great. At that moment, Lin Wanyu had originally been joking, but after hearing her master's words, a happy and expectant smile appeared on her face. However, when she saw the person who suddenly appeared in front of her, the smile on Lin Wanyu's face froze. She could no longer smile. That disciple, this is your junior sister. Don't you think you should act like a senior sister and show her around? As soon as these words were spoken, the disciples below all nodded. At this moment, he was smiling very happily. What are you laughing at? It's the same for all of you. As senior brothers and senior sisters, shouldn't you give junior sister some greeting gifts? As soon as he said this, the few people who had been laughing because of this matter now had their smiles frozen, just like Lin Wanyu's. They immediately got away and ran towards the door. Master, I understand. You go ahead with your work. I'll bring junior sister around. At this moment, Lin Wanyu looked at the little girl who was standing there with a timid expression. For a moment, Lin Wanyu seemed to see the scene when she was picked up by Lin Rei when she was young. Suddenly, she sympathetically let go of Lin Rei's arm and said to him. Then, she pulled the little girl out. At this moment, the room was quiet. Lin Rei knew that Lin Wanyu's sudden attitude must have reminded her of her childhood. Suddenly, his mood worsened. Sigh. With a long sigh, Lin Rei's face showed a trace of worry. At this moment, Ing, who had been standing by the side, saw Lin Rei's appearance and quickly stepped forward to comfort him. Brother Lei, don't worry. They all have their own thoughts. You can't control them and make them not think about it. Sigh. That's right. When I picked up little you, she was really cute and very difficult to deal with. All these years, she grew up with little Tian. Forget it. Let's not talk about it. Let nature take its course. Speaking of this, a sense of exhaustion suddenly surged in his heart. Gradually, sleepiness swept over at this moment without warning. After finishing his words, Lin Rei's head slowly fell on the table beside him. At this moment, Ing, who had been paying attention to Lin Rei, saw her husband's appearance. Then, she quickly stepped forward to support him. When she felt that her husband had fallen asleep, she carried him to the bed and then lay down beside Lin Rei and fell asleep quietly. Time passed little by little. In the blink of an eye, 2 days had passed. During these 2 days, Lin Rei had strengthened the formation here several times. He believed, such a formation, even a divine master or a half-saint could do nothing about it. And in these 2 days, in addition to setting up the formation, he summoned his eldest disciple, Lin Wanyu, whenever he was free, and taught her attentively. After these 2 days of careful teaching by Lin Rei, Lin Wanyu, who was originally a late-stage divine master, finally broke through to the Sir God realm on the morning of the second day. Regarding this, the other junior brothers and sisters were very envious of her. Of course, they were only envious and not jealous because of this. After all, it was their eldest senior sister who had been taking care of them ever since they became apprentices. During these 2 days, Xiefeng had been by Lin Rei's side, helping him to fix the formation. Of course, most importantly, she was still afraid that Lin Rei would suddenly go crazy. For this, Lin Rei was very grateful to her. "Little Lei, let's go." At this moment, at the exit of the 5th level, the ancient clan leader led all the ancient clan members and looked at Lin Rei beside him and said, "Yes, let's go. Xiefeng and I have already set up the formation at the entrance. Unless a Saint Realm expert comes personally, don't even think about breaking the formation here." "Okay, got it. I can rest assured with your help." Looking at Lin Rei, the old man smiled in relief and then led the ancient clan members out. "Ha, let's go." Looking at the old man's actions, Lin Rei did not hesitate and led the group out. For him, since he had already broken through the Death Canyon, it was very easy for him to get out. Along the way, there were no obstructions. With a quick glance, a month had passed. Although there was no danger, the journey was still very long. Moreover, he was not alone at this moment. There was a large group behind him, and it would not be good if he was too fast. "Awoo! Awoo!" At this moment, at the entrance of the Death Canyon, a white-haired man led a group of people out of the Death Canyon. "Phew! We're finally out." This group of people was none other than the young man who had just returned from the Ghost World. They were from the 5th level of the Death Canyon. The person who led the ancient clan members out was Lin Rei. At this moment, the moment they appeared, because of the fluctuation of cultivation on their bodies, it immediately caused the demonic beasts in the forest outside to become restless. The roars of the demonic beasts came one after another. However, one could tell that the roars of the demonic beasts were filled with fear. "Yes, we're out. It's been a long time since we've been to the God Realm. I didn't expect to be able to bring my clan members back to live in the God Realm in my lifetime. This is all thanks to you." At this moment, Lin Rei, who heard the ancient clan leader's sigh, quickly spoke up. "Haha, it's nothing, grandfather. Even without me, you would have come out in no time. After all, the spiritual energy there is too thin. It's not enough for all of you to cultivate." Hearing this, the old man smiled and did not say much. However, Lin Rei could feel the rich spiritual energy in the surroundings. It was being greedily devoured by the ancient clan members. Therefore, it could be seen how much they longed for the God Realm that was rich in spiritual energy. "Young master, where are we going now?" At this moment, just as everyone was enjoying the spiritual energy in the God Realm, 15, who was hiding in the sky, suddenly appeared and asked in a low voice, "Where are we going? I haven't thought about it yet. We'll take it one step at a time. Let's go to the surrounding cities and find out if anything big happened while we were away." "Yes." Hearing Lin Rei's words, everyone nodded their heads in agreement. However, at this moment, Lin Li could sense that there were so many people behind him. If he were to head out, he would definitely be noticed. Instantly, he came to a stop and turned around to speak to the leader of the ancient race. "Grandfather, there are so many people in the ancient clan. It's too eye-catching. I want them to go to a place that's very safe." You see, the ancient clan leader, who was greedily devouring the spiritual energy, frowned when he heard Lin Rei's words. He looked at the remaining people and said, "Indeed, with so many people, it's indeed eye-catching." At this point, the old man fell into deep thought. After a moment of hesitation, he finally made up his mind. "All right, you see." Hearing this, Lin Rei smiled. He then turned around and said to the ancient clan members, "Ancient clan members, since there are so many of you, I'm afraid that you'll attract the attention of others. Therefore, I've decided to send you to a place that has the same amount of spiritual energy. Furthermore, the spiritual energy here will definitely not lose out to this place. Are you willing?" The ancient clan members, who were still absorbing the spiritual energy, looked at the ancient clan leader the moment they heard Lin Ray's words. It was as though they were confirming the accuracy of this matter. Yes, that's right. We have so many people. Therefore, you see, we're willing. Since the ancient clan leader had spoken, as members of the ancient clan, they naturally had nothing to say. Hearing that they had agreed, Lin Ray nodded his head in agreement. All right, everyone, don't resist. With that, Lin Ray scanned the crowd with his consciousness. With a thought, the ancient clan members, who were originally numerous, instantly disappeared from the spot. When the ancient clan leader saw this, his heart skipped a beat. His face was filled with disbelief. Hee, Grandpa, you don't have to be nervous. This is just a spatial equipment that can accommodate living people. Don't worry, once we reach a safe place, I'll naturally release them. Hey, it's nothing. I'm just surprised. I didn't expect you to have so many tricks up your sleeve, little Lay. Hearing this, Lin Ray rubbed his nose embarrassedly and replied, All right, Grandpa, let's not talk about this anymore. Let's hurry up and leave. All right, you decide. After all, I don't come to the realm of the gods often. You can do as you deem fit. All right. Hearing this, Linley could only helplessly lead the group out of the room. Chapter 608. In the south, at the border between Donjo and Spiritual State, a group of people arrived at the gate of Gallery City with smiles on their faces. Young Master, that's the closest city to the Death Canyon. It's also the border between Donjo and Spiritual State, Gallery City. This group of people was none other than Lin Ray, who had just come out of the Death Canyon. After traveling for 10 days, they finally arrived at the city closest to the Death Canyon. The Death Canyon was surrounded by a forest of monsters, so Lin Ray's group had to fly for a long time before they found it. Moreover, there were pedestrians along the way who could ask for directions. It might even take a month or two, let alone 10 days. Well, since you're here, let's go. Go in and find a restaurant to eat and drink. When you have nothing to do, go and inquire about the situation in the Divine Realm. See if anything interesting happened in the Divine Realm during the time when I was not here. Yes. After hearing the order, 15's body flashed and instantly disappeared on the spot, quickly heading toward the city. Ha! Lin Ray chuckled as he looked at 15's back with his divine sense. He knew 15 very well, so he naturally knew that 15 had gone ahead to arrange a place to eat and stay. Let's go. Lin Ray only withdrew his divine sense after 15 disappeared. Of course, he did not withdraw it completely. After all, he could only rely on his divine sense to see the way. Okay, the group of people slowly walked to the city gate. However, what made them unhappy was that when they reached the city gate tower, they were stopped by the guards at the gate. Damn, no way. Again? Lin Ray felt helpless when he heard the guard's voice. He did not understand why other people were fine when they passed through the city gate, but he was always blocked outside the city gate. Brother, may I ask why you stopped us? At this moment, before Lin Ray could speak, the young man beside him hurriedly stepped forward and asked the gloomy guard with a kind smile. It's nothing. It's just that the city lord has ordered a strict investigation 2 days ago. As you know, many sects in the Ninth Continent have entered the Divine Realm after the appearance of the Ninth Continent. So we have to what? The Ninth Continent has appeared. At this time, Lin Ray, who had been listening by the side, was shocked when he heard the guard's words. He questioned him with a heavier tone. He seemed to have been frightened by Lin Ray's cold voice. Immediately after, his mouth involuntarily opened to answer. Yes. Who would have thought that something so interesting would happen in the God Realm? After receiving confirmation from the guard, a hint of an interested smile appeared on Linley's face. You shouldn't be from the Ninth Province. You can leave. None of them had expected that Linley would ask them so many questions. The guard immediately cowered and began to chase Lin Ray away. Ugh. Looking at the guards, everyone was stunned. Then, he thanked him and walked into the city. What's wrong with you? The city lord wants us to conduct a strict investigation. Just as Linley led his group into the city, another guard at the city gate began to criticize the guard who had let Linley's group through. What do you know? Didn't you sense the shocking murderous intent in that blind man's voice? Moreover, when I said that the ninth province had appeared, that man was shocked. It's obvious that he didn't know about this. Do you think I can stop such a person? When the person who had questioned heard his companion's words, he immediately fell silent. That's why you have to be careful when you look at people in the future. Try not to stop such a person in the future. Based on the murderous intent emanating from that person just now, I'm sure that even our city lord might not be a match for him. Damn, no way, are you so sure? He didn't dare to believe his companion's analysis. In his world, the city lord was already very powerful. He really didn't expect that there would be such a powerful person in the group just now. Yes, I'm very sure. That's why you should learn from him in the future. Don't blindly act rashly. You'll end up in trouble. Hearing this, the guards at the city gate fell silent. However, they didn't know that Lin Ray's divine sense had never left the two of them when they entered the city. When he heard the analysis of the guard who let them go, Lin Ray's eyes flashed. Haha, you're observant and clever. You're an intelligence agent? As for that guard, Linley felt a sense of appreciation for his talent. After all, the sect was in need of people like him to serve them. What's wrong, master? Tell me what's so good about you. At that moment, Lin Wanyu, who was standing at the side, saw a rare smile on her master's face. Then, she hurried to his side, stretched out her hand, and grabbed his arm and asked curiously. Hearing his eldest disciple's voice, Lin Ray paused for a moment. Then, he opened his mouth and said with a smile, "It's like this, just a moment ago, Lin Ray's word were heard by everyone because there weren't many things that could make Lin Ray smile." A few minutes later, after Lin Ray finished talking about what happened just now, everyone helplessly retreated to the side. They thought it was something funny, but now they were completely speechless. However, after everyone retreated to the side, only Lin Wanyu and Ning didn't leave after hearing it. Instead, they listened with great interest. Master, look at you. You're always investigating those boring things. Look at the people selling things around here. Clothes selling. All kinds of things selling. These are interesting things. How about? At that moment, Lin Ray knew what Lin Wanyu wanted to say. Originally, he wanted to refuse, but thinking that he hadn't accompanied them for a long time, Lin Ray immediately nodded and agreed. Moreover, after being blinded, Lin Ray saw a lot more clearly. In addition to Jean Ling's matter, Lin Ray knew that family was the most important thing. The original intention of cultivation wasn't to dominate the world, to become the strongest. The original intention was to protect one's family and loved ones. Okay, as long as little you is happy. Since that's the case, let's go take a look. After Lin Ray's words, everyone was in disbelief. Everyone looked at Lin Ray doubtfully. At that moment, they even suspected that the person who agreed to go shopping was the real Lin Ray. Kid, I didn't expect that after being blinded, you would be so open-minded. You're so open-minded. Not bad, not bad. At this moment, while everyone was still in a daze, a woman in fiery red clothes walked out from the crowd. Her voice was very pleasant to the ears, and her appearance was even more stunning. However, her words were not very pleasant to the ears. TSK, nothing good comes out of a dog's mouth. This beautiful woman in red clothes was none other than Xie Feng, who was in the Sage Realm. Just a few days ago, Lin Ray complained that her original form was too eye-catching, so he kept persuading her to transform into her human form. After 2 days of persuasion, finally, Xie Feng agreed. Who knew that after Xie Feng transformed into her human form, her appearance would be so beautiful that even Ning was a little jealous. Master, Senior Xie Feng, stop talking. As long as the two of you open your mouths, there will be no end to it. Let's go. Lin Wanyu, who was at the side, saw her master and Xie Feng bickering. She immediately interrupted the two of them and pulled Lin Ray to the side, where the food was sold. Not long after Lin Ray was pulled away, everyone came back to their senses. When they saw the snacks in Lin Ray's hand, they were instantly stunned. However, they were happy for him in their hearts. However, the scene was still a little out of place. After all, Lin Rei was the leader of a sect, and he was in the Emperor God realm. Now that he was eating snacks on the street, how would the big shots in the realm of the gods relate it to him? Come, all of you. These things are quite delicious. At that moment, Lin Rei, whose mouth was stuffed with food by Lin Wanyu, used his divine sense to check on his other disciples. He waved at them with a smile on his face. Coming, coming. Oh, coming, master. At that moment, Alienation, Lin Xinyuan, Ka Luan Bing, everyone nodded at Lin Rei and joined the ranks of the foodies. Needless to say, this kind of thing really happened. Normally, they wouldn't do this. Moreover, they didn't come out often. They would only follow Lin Rei when he came out. Master, look at this. It's delicious too. Quick, try it. Just like that, the group of people began to sweep through the street of snacks. Everywhere they went, the people at the food stalls sold out everything for the day. At the same time, while Linley was happily playing with his disciples, the sky gradually darkened, and at this time, the 15th day of the month arrived. All right, Xiaoyu, that's all for today. Don't forget why we came here today. At that moment, Lin Wanyu, who had played enough, nodded happily. I know, master. I'm not an insensible person. Hearing these words, Linley nodded in satisfaction. But who would have thought that before he could say anything, Lin Wanyu would speak again? Let's continue tomorrow. As soon as she said that, Lin Rei's face instantly fell. However, Lin Rei, who did not want to spoil the mood, could only nod and agree. All right, I got it. Let's talk about it tomorrow. As he said that, Lin Rei nodded at 15. Immediately, 15, who understood, said, Young master, I've already booked a restaurant. While you were playing, I asked around and found out that when we were still in the world of spirits and souls, the 9th continent had appeared without any warning. Has it really appeared? Hearing 15's report, Lin Rei felt that things were getting more and more interesting. He had originally planned to go to the 9th continent. Now, he finally had time. Chapter 609. All right, let's leave it at that for now. We just came back, so let's take a break. Young master, you. At this moment, 15, who heard Lin Rei's words, was stunned. He couldn't believe it. He suspected that this sentence came from Lin Rei's mouth. Don't be surprised. Anyway, isn't the divine realm in chaos now? Let's take a break during this period. After a while, the real chaos will begin. At this point, Lin Rei revealed a mysterious smile, nodded to him, and then walked forward. 15, who didn't understand, saw Lin Rei leave. He quickly went forward to lead the way to the restaurant that had been booked. At this moment, Lin Wanyu, who had been pulling Lin Rei along the way, didn't seem to have any intention of letting go. Lin Rei was helpless, but he didn't say anything. However, when someone was happy, there would naturally be someone who was unhappy. Lin Yuro, who had been standing beside Lin Wanyu, was naturally unhappy. Senior sister, you've occupied master for so long. Shouldn't you give him to me? At this moment, hearing their conversation, Lin Rei was speechless. What do you mean by occupied? What do you mean by giving him to you? What do you think master is? The appearance of this scene made Ing, who was standing at the side, laugh with a teasing face. In this regard, Lin Rei was even more speechless. What time is this? She was still laughing, and she didn't know how to help him out of the situation. Fourth junior sister, you see, there's still time tomorrow. Let's leave it at that for today, and I'll give master to you tomorrow. Hearing this, Lin Yuro pondered. Okay, it's settled. Tomorrow, master must follow me. Looking at how easily they decided on tomorrow's matter, Lin Rei wanted to resist. But looking at their expectant faces, Lin Rei couldn't say anything in the end. Sigh. Lin Rei sighed. In the end, he could only endure. After all, they were all his disciples. Lin Rei understood that he should treat them equally. Looking at them, Lin Rei hurriedly said to them in a bad mood, all right, hurry up and go. Go back to your room after you eat something. Understood, master. The group quickly arrived at the restaurant. Seeing that the restaurant was empty at the moment, but the dishes were already on the table, Lin Rei immediately came to the table with a smile and sat down. Needless to say, Lin Rei knew that all of this was done by 15. In response, Lin Rei said to everyone, "All right, let's cook. Hurry up and eat." With that said, Lin Rei began to eat big chunks. However, at this moment, it seemed like Lin Rei was the only one eating. No one else moved their chopsticks. Sensing that there was no sound in the surroundings, Zhang Xian was stunned. Lin Rei released his divine sense and explored the surroundings. Only then did he realize that no one had touched their chopsticks and were just watching quietly. What's wrong? Is it not delicious? Lin Rei, who was puzzled, asked everyone. "Master, how much have we eaten just now? How can we still be hungry?" At this moment, the voice of his eldest disciple sounded. Suddenly, Lin Rei remembered. They had been eating for the whole day. Thinking about it, it made sense. "All right then, go back to your room if you're full." Hearing Lin Rei's words, Lin Wanyu and the others, as well as Bing and the others, all stood up. After bowing to Lin Rei, they left. After checking that only he, 15, the ancient clan leader, Xie Feng, and Ying were left in the restaurant, Lin Rei was embarrassed. "Haha, are you stupid?" At this moment, Xie Feng, who understood Lin Rei's meaning, looked at Lin Rei's embarrassed face. Immediately, she laughed and made fun of him. TSK. Lin Rei did not give Xie Feng a good look from the beginning to the end. You know what I mean? After saying that, Lin Rei did not eat anymore. Instead, he placed the bowl and chopsticks in his hand on the table. Then he asked 15, who was beside him, with a serious expression, "Tell me, what did you find out just now?" Seeing Lin Li ask 15 with such a serious look on his face, 15, who was standing next to him, Xie Feng was puzzled. Not only Xie Feng, but even the ancient clan leader and Ying were puzzled. It's like this. After booking the hotel during the day, I began to investigate all over the city. Other than the news of the appearance of the ninth continent, I did find out another piece of news. Perhaps young master will be very happy to hear it. What news? That's right. What news is it? Little 15, you're really too troublesome. At this moment, they heard 15's words. Everyone was puzzled and hurriedly asked. Xie Feng, who was at the side, was even more anxious at 15's hesitant look. Seeing everyone's doubts and anxiety, 15 hurriedly said to everyone, "It's like this. Someone said that some time ago, tens of thousands of cultivators suddenly appeared in the starting ground and ascended from the immortal world to the divine realm." Oh, isn't that normal? It's normal for the immortal world to ascend to the divine realm. Why would I be happy? Regarding the news that 15 said, Lin Rei did not understand. It was normal for the immortal world to ascend to the divine realm. Why, however? At this moment, a matter appeared in his mind. Then he asked 15 excitedly, "Don't tell me you're saying that Xiao Yun has come to the divine realm." At this point, other than Ying, who had a strange movement, everyone else was stunned. As for Xiao Yun, other than Lin Rei and 15, no one else knew about it. I heard that the appearance of that person, as well as that person's weapon, is very similar to young Master Xiao Yun. Sure enough, hearing 15's words, a smile appeared on Lin Rei's face. Thinking about it, when this sovereign left, Xiao Yun was already in the immortal realm. Now that this sovereign has left for almost 1,000 years, I think he should have ascended to the divine realm. Thinking of this, Lin Rei's face revealed a smile. "Young master, it's not just young master Xiao Yun. I heard others say that those tens of thousands of people were wearing the same style of clothes. So you guess that Xiao Yun moved the entire Xuanzong sect to the divine realm, right?" "Yes, that's what I meant." At this moment, Lin Rei was shocked. Although when he left, the sect naturally grew stronger and became the strongest in the immortal world, but in less than 1,000 years, tens of thousands of disciples were able to break through. The only thing that Lin Rei could think of was, everyone, at least most of them, did not break through to the immortal realm, but directly entered the divine realm in the immortal emperor realm. Thinking of this, Lin Rei's expression changed. If that was really the case, then it would really be a waste. Back then, he wanted to create a very powerful sect where everyone could take charge of things on their own. So when he recruited disciples, all of them were the most talented. If it was really as he thought, then those disciples were really finished. "Young master, what's wrong with you?" At this moment, seeing that Lin Ray's face did not have the same smile as before, 15 suddenly asked worriedly. This prodigal thing, to think that. The more Lin Ray thought about it, the angrier he became. In the end, he directly roared. Hearing Linley's growl, everyone was speechless. It turned out that the reason his face had turned ugly was because of his own child. 15, I'll have to trouble you during this period of time. At this moment, Lin Ray's sudden words made 15 stand up hurriedly. With a firm expression, he replied, "Young master, just give me the order." Looking at 15's expression, Lin Ray smiled and said, "Go and find me some spiritual herbs to refine the vitality-strengthening pill. The more the better. I'm not afraid of spending money." The vitality-strengthening pill has only one medicinal effect. It's used for those cultivators who have ascended before reaching the immortal realm. This way, they can quickly replenish the portion of their strength that they lack. Of course, the name of this pill sounded easy, but it was a mid-stage immortal realm pill. In order to make up for the lack of talents in the sect, it was difficult for him not to refine it. Hearing Lin Ray's explanation, everyone immediately understood. Then, 15 agreed. "Yes, young master, I'll set off immediately." Go ahead." A moment ago, 15 was still standing in front of Lin Ray. The next moment, he disappeared from the restaurant. Seeing 15 disappear, suddenly, Lin Ray shouted into the sky, "Everyone come out. I have something for you to do." As soon as he finished speaking, 20 or so people instantly appeared in front of Linley, their faces filled with respect as they awaited Linley's orders. Looking at them, Lin Ray didn't waste any time. He started to instruct them, find 2 people with high cultivation levels to watch Chinko and Sect's every move. If there's any movement, inform me immediately. As soon as he finished speaking, 2 men stepped out from the crowd and said to Linley, 10, 6, we obey the young master's orders." With that, the 2 of them disappeared from the restaurant. Then, Lin Ray didn't stop there. He continued to instruct the crowd. 2 of you, go and find out where the Xuanzong sect is. 3, 4, yes, young master, go and find out where Sakura is. Tell him that I have something to talk to him about. He has your companions beside him. I believe you should be able to sense it. Just like that, Lin Ray gave out missions one by one. He didn't care about CF Feng and the leader of the ancient tribe at all. As for the 20 or so Azura clansmen, there were only a few left after Linley had finished giving out missions. Looking at the remaining Azura clansmen, Linley instructed, "Since you have nothing to do, go and protect the madam." "Yes, young master." As he spoke, the remaining Shura clan members hid in the air, protecting Ing from the shadows. At this moment, CFOM and the rest were stunned. Lin Ray's orders were all for the future. F*CK, not bad, kid. I knew it. How could it be possible for you to talk about rest? I thought it was weird. Now I finally know what you mean. Hearing Xiefeng's words, Lin Ray smiled and said, "Heis, I have no choice. Who asked me to come out at such a good time? As the saying goes, heroes are created in times of chaos. If I don't hurry up and come up with a plan, wouldn't it be a waste?" Chapter 610. Hee, you're really scheming everywhere you go. I'm really afraid that I'll fall into your trap one day. Looking at Lin Ray, Xiefeng couldn't help but shudder. Her eyes were filled with shock. Hee, how could that be? Even if I wanted to scheme against you, you wouldn't even give me the chance. With that, Lin Ray turned to the direction of the ancient tribe leader and asked, "Grandfather, do you have any plans after this?" At this moment, the ancient tribe leader, who was sipping on his tea, raised his head and looked at Lin Ray strangely when he heard Lin Ray's words. "Not at the moment. We'll take it one step at a time." Hearing these words, Linley went silent. Even though he had managed to persuade the ancient race to leave the Death Canyon, he didn't want them to participate in what was to come. He wanted the ancient race to live peacefully and not participate in any of the wars in the god world. Grandpa, why don't I look for a paradise for you and the ancient race? Then, you can set up the ancient race as the new location. After all, it wouldn't be a good thing for the ancient tribe to stay there forever. At this moment, hearing Lin Ray's words, the face of the ancient tribe leader darkened. He said in a displeased tone, "Why? Are you looking down on my old bones for being useless?" What are you talking about? He had not expected the attitude of the ancient tribe leader to be so agitated. Furthermore, he knew the cultivation state of this grandfather of his. He was a half-sage. If this grandfather of his was useless, then he would be even more useless. Since that's the case, why are you leaving the ancient tribe? Hearing this, Lin Ray came to a realization. He hurriedly explained to the ancient tribe leader, However, just as Linley was about to explain, he was interrupted by the clan leader of the ancient race. Don't bother explaining. Since the ancient race has already entered the god realm, some things are unavoidable. Therefore, there's no need to worry about the ancient race. Since I can summon the ancient race out, I'm not afraid of those things. He looked at the ancient tribe leader. Lin Ray was helpless. He knew what the old man was thinking, but he was unwilling. Grandfather, I'm doing this for the sake of the ancient race and you. After all, you are Ling Er's grandfather, and the ancient race is Ling Er's family. I must ensure the safety of you and the ancient race. Only by doing so can I. There's no need to say any more. Since the ancient race has already appeared, there's nothing more to say. You don't have to worry about this and that. Seeing how determined the old man was, Lin Ray could only shut his mouth. He knew that no matter what he said, the old man would not leave. Sigh. Fine. Take a look. However, I still stand by my words. The ancient clan is Linger's home. I will not allow them to be destroyed. With that, Linley stood up and bowed to the clan leader of the Goof family. He then left and headed back to his own room. Since Lin Ray had left, there was no reason for CF Phone to bring him along as well. She then stood up and walked towards the backyard, followed by the clan leader of the ancient race. And then Shadow. Time passed quickly. It had been dozens of days since they had arrived at Glory City. In this period of time, Lin Ray had not cultivated in peace. No, it could be said that he had not cultivated at all. Ever since he had promised his disciples that he would accompany them to shop in Glory City, trouble had arrived. On the first day, it was his eldest disciple. Then, it was his fourth disciple. After that, it was his other disciples. Of course, while the girls were shopping, the boys were pressuring him daily to impart battle techniques and skills. Even though Lin Ray was helpless about this, he was happy about it. Initially, he thought that everything would be fine after accompanying his 6 disciples. Who knew that Lin Mei would come as well? He could not reject this goddaughter of his. However, what he did not expect was that Shadow would be jealous because he did not accompany her for the past few days. In the next few days, Lin Ray spent all his time by Shadow's side. He did not leave her side at all. On this day, when the sun had just risen, Lin Ray, who was still sleeping on his bed, heard his wife's voice. Husband, we still have to go to Glory City's historical sites today. When the sleeping Lin Ray heard his wife's words, he immediately wanted to cry, but had no tears. He wanted to pretend to be asleep. However, Lin Ray did not dare to casually provoke Shadow, who was also a god emperor. Okay, I'll go. After saying that, Lin Ray sighed. Then, he began to put on his clothes. Lin Ray deeply understood this lesson. Because of this, he swore in his heart that he would never go shopping again. He would never casually agree to anyone's request, especially when it came to his own disciple's request. A few minutes later, a neatly dressed Lin Ray walked out of his room. Using his consciousness, he arrived at a spacious area in the courtyard. Then, he took a deep breath and began to move. Stellar finger. Immediately, Lin Ray, who did not use any of his cultivation, began to move. Just like that, with the strength of his physical body, he began to practice the stellar finger, a cultivation technique that he had learned from cultivation. He had long been familiar with this cultivation technique. Furthermore, he had cultivated it to the peak of the cultivation technique. It had even surpassed the cultivation technique's original level. Following the change in his breathing, Lin Rei's sword fingers moved even faster. Even without the support of his cultivation, Lin Rei, who had a God Realm middle stage body, was naturally not weaker than his cultivation. His speed became faster and faster. In the end, even the small amount of afterimages that could be detected disappeared. Stellar finger. Destroy the stars. Right at this moment, Lin Li's sword fingers struck the ground at high speed. With a loud bang, 100-meter deep crater appeared where Lin Li had struck. Walala, walala. It was unknown whether it was intentional or not, but the power of this finger was so strong that it destroyed the entire courtyard. The surrounding houses were also affected. All the houses within a radius of 50 meters were now in the deep hole created by Lin Rei. As for the initiator of the deep hole, he was now standing in the middle of the deep hole, feeling everything around him with his divine sense. Who is it? You woke up early and didn't let me sleep. Do you have any morals? Are you still going to let me? At this moment, a clear female voice came from the deep hole. There was a hint of meaning in the voice. Damn, it can't be. At this moment, Lin Rei, who was standing in the middle of the deep hole, naturally heard this roar. As he was blind, he was more sensitive to sound recognition. Therefore, when he heard this sudden roar, the figure of a woman in fiery red clothes instantly appeared in his mind. CF Feng, Lin Rei, who was uncertain, immediately stepped out and came to the place where the voice came from. Using his divine sense, he saw a woman in red clothes who was now embedded in the ground. Except for her head and some red clothes, there was nothing else. Damn, it's really her. When he sensed that this person was CF Feng, Lin Rei immediately felt regret. Lin Rei. At this moment, CF Feng, who was embedded in the ground, naturally saw Lin Rei's arrival. The moment she saw Lin Rei, CF Feng was furious. For such a large area of destruction, and judging from the momentum, only Lin Rei dared to do this. No one else had the ability and qualifications to do so. Thinking of this, anger surged up. At this moment, the undying flame rushed out of her body and rushed toward Lin Rei. Feeling the temperature of the flame, Lin Rei immediately took out the illusory spirit blood fire without thinking. Boom! At the moment when the illusory spirit blood fire appeared, the undying flame also arrived in front of Lin Rei and bombarded him. However, what made CF Feng depressed was that when her undying flame bombarded Lin Rei, the undying flame seemed to have sensed something terrible and instantly broke the connection with her. Then, it was swallowed by the illusory spirit blood fire on the surface of Lin Rei's body and became the nutrients of the illusory spirit blood fire. Damn, you bastard! Feeling this, CF Feng fell helpless, but there was no other way. Then, she quickly released her cultivation. Suddenly, a huge pit appeared, and CF Feng was lying in it. Humph, boy, you're really something. CF Feng, who was lying in the pit, lifted her head and looked at Lin Rei. Then, she stood up from the pit and took a step forward to Lin Rei's side. That. Sensing that CF Feng was still angry, Lin Rei quickly took out some elixirs and handed them to her. He said, although these elixirs don't have the effect of increasing your cultivation, you can eat them like candy. These elixirs have the effect of beautifying your appearance. Moreover, even if you eat all of them, there won't be any side effects. Really? CF Feng, who was about to attack, heard Lin Rei's words and immediately looked down at the dozens of bottles of elixirs that he had taken out. Looking at the elixirs, CF Feng asked hesitantly. As the saying went, medicine is 30% poisonous. She did not believe that these elixirs had no medicinal properties at all. Really, I used spiritual fruits to refine these elixirs. They are fragrant and sweet, and there are no side effects at all. If you don't want them, then forget it. I was planning to give them to my disciples. With that, Lin Rei was about to take back the elixirs. However, at this moment, CF Feng reached out and quickly snatched the elixirs away. Sensing CF Feng's current state, Lin Ray knew that today's matter was over. However, this matter was resolved. At this moment, the ground above the pit was filled with people because of the huge commotion. They were looking curiously at Lin Ray and Xie Feng, who were in the pit. What gave Lin Ray a headache was that his disciples were among them. They had heard everything that he said to Xie Feng, including the part about the beautifying elixirs that he had specially refined for them. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. At this moment, a few figures had already jumped down from above. Immediately, Lin Ray probed with his divine sense. He saw his eldest disciple, fourth disciple, sixth disciple, and goddaughter Lin Lei. Seeing that it was them, Lin Ray's face fell instantly. Damn it, are you playing with me? Thinking of what he had said just now, he suddenly felt angry. Lin Ray wanted to slap himself a few times. If he had known that they were here, he would not have said those words just now. Master, do you still have those elixirs? We want them too. Quickly take them out and give them to us. As soon as these words came out, Lin Ray paused affectionately and said to them, Well, your master's wife is looking for me. I'll leave first. Chapter 6:11. As he spoke, Lin Ray exerted force in his legs and instantly disappeared into the deep pit. The place where Lin Ray had left had completely collapsed. This guy, Xie Feng, who was standing at the side, was shocked when she saw the traces left behind by Lin Ray. Physical strength? I didn't expect this guy to cultivate his physical strength to such a level. She had been shocked by Lin Ray ever since she met him in the underground world. No, since she made a deal with Lin Ray. Along the way, the surprises and shocks that Lin Ray had brought her had never stopped. Even in the Eldritch world, she had never seen such a person, not even the innate god fiends. She didn't expect to meet such a shocking existence in the future. Haha, it's getting more and more interesting. Maybe this guy can really overthrow the heavenly court and fight with a Tao ancestor or reach a higher level. He might even surpass the great Tao. Xie Feng smiled at the thought of this. The moment Xie Feng smiled, the surroundings seemed to lose their color, as if she was the only one left in the world. So beautiful. At this moment, Cullen, who was standing above the deep pit, had been paying attention to Xie Feng. When he saw Xie Feng smile, he couldn't help but blurt out, Haha, thank you. You're welcome. At this moment, a pleasant voice sounded from behind him. Cullen immediately responded. However, in the next moment, Cullen was stunned. When he turned around, he saw that Xie Feng had appeared behind him without him noticing. Cold sweat broke out on Cullen's forehead. Haha, don't be nervous. Xie Feng, who was standing beside Cullen, said when she saw Cullen's current state. Then she swaggered out. Phew. Looking at Xie Feng's back as she left, Cullen felt a lingering fear in his heart. Just like that, the matter was over. On the street, Lin Ray strolled alone after coming out of the restaurant. He didn't want to go to his wife's invitation. Bang! Just as Lin Ray was walking down the street in a daze, he suddenly felt as if he had bumped into someone. Then he came back to his senses and used his divine sense to explore the front. At this moment, on the ground in front of him, the person who seemed to have been knocked down by him, Lin Ray recognized him at first glance. Wasn't this person the seven orifices exquisite person he had met when he entered the city? Suddenly, Lin Ray smiled and reached out to help her up. Sorry, I was thinking about something just now and didn't notice. Senior, it's fine. It's this little one's fault for bumping into you. At this moment, when the guard who was sitting on the ground saw the person who bumped into him, wasn't it the person who had revealed his shocking, killing intent that day? His face was full of smiles as he hurriedly apologized. Haha. Looking at him, Lin Ray's love for talent grew even stronger. For such a person, he would speak the human language. Although there were many people like him in the world, it was rare to see such an exquisite person. Are you free? If you're free, why don't you take a walk with me? At this moment, the guard who heard Lin Ray's words immediately looked at Lin Ray in confusion. Ignoring him, Chun Dan walked forward alone after she finished speaking. At this moment, the guard behind saw Lin Ray walking forward and hurriedly followed him. Senior, my name is Lin Ray. After feeling that the guard was following him, Lin Ray hurriedly introduced himself. Oh, I'm Han Lei. Oh, Han Lei? Not bad, that's a good name. Hearing Lin Ray's praise, Han Lei immediately replied with a smile. Thank you. Here, eat this. At this moment, just as Lin Ray was walking forward, he thought of something and took out a pill from his ring and handed it to Han Lei. Instantly, the moment the pill was exposed, the fragrance of the pill filled the surroundings. At this moment, the street was already filled with pedestrians. The moment they smelled the pill, everyone looked at the pill in Lin Ray's hand with greedy eyes. At this moment, everyone had the same thought in their hearts. They all wanted to get this person's pill. However, when they felt the aura of the person holding the pill, they all retreated. This is for... At this moment, Han Lei heard Lin Ray's words and lowered his head to look at the pill. For people like them who boasted of being inferior, pills were something that they could only dream of but could not obtain. Other than a few people who tipped them, they did not have any extra money to buy pills. At this moment, when he heard that the person he had only met for 2 years was going to give him such a precious pill, suddenly, Han Lei was stunned. At this moment, if Xiefeng was here, she would definitely be able to tell that the pill in Lin Ray's hand was the mind control pill that she exchanged with Lin Ray using the Phoenix dance of the Ninth Heaven. That's right, this is for you to eat. You told me such important information the first time we met. This is what you deserve. With that, Lin Ray directly stuffed the pill into Han Lei's hand with a tough attitude, and then continued to walk forward. Sensing the pill that Lin Li had placed into his hands, Han Lei instantly began to tremble with excitement. Gulp! At this moment, Han Lei looked at the pill without any hesitation and swallowed it without hesitation. In his mind, his thoughts were very simple. For someone who had no value and no ability, no one would want to harm him. With this in mind, Han Lei swallowed the pill. However, he did not expect Lin Ray to value him. Although he would not harm him, he would control him. At this moment, Lin Ray, who was walking in front, did not leave Han Lei for even a moment. He looked very nervous. However, when Han Lei swallowed the pill, he finally relaxed. Although there was an element of deception, there was no other way. Who asked this person to have the talent to gather information? He lacked such people. Therefore, all the coincidences were opportunities. For such an opportunity, it was very shameful to waste it. It's so fragrant. At this moment, Han Lei, who had swallowed the mind control pill, did not feel anything strange. He only felt that the pill melted in his mouth and a medicinal fragrance flowed from his throat into his stomach. At this moment, Han Lei's face was filled with intoxication and enjoyment. Lin Ray, who had been paying attention to Han Lei, laughed. He laughed very happily. Originally, Lin Ray did not want to control Han Lei's decision. However, when he thought of the traitor, he had no choice but to do so, although it was a little unfair to Han Lei. Moreover, when it came to subduing Han Lei, many thoughts and decisions had floated through his mind before he decided to do so. The so-called strike while the iron is hot. It was just like this, right? Master! At this moment, a familiar voice sounded. Lin Ray used his divine sense to investigate. Han Lei had already arrived at his side and was respectfully following behind him. Call me young master from now on. Yes, young master. Seeing how obedient Han Lei was, Lin Li felt a hint of guilt towards him. However, when he thought about how he was going to help Han Lei reach the peak of the world and make his name known in the history of the deity realm, that hint of guilt instantly dissipated. Let's go. Tell me about this splendid city. It's been so long. Other than eating and drinking here, there's nothing else to do? As he spoke, Lin Li led Han Lei forward. On the way, Han Lei listened to Lin Li's orders and then explained to him, Young master, actually, in the past, Splendid City wasn't a city. This place used to be a village. Later on, an expert named Splendid appeared in the village. Slowly, as time passed, the original village disappeared and became Splendid City. As for that expert, named Splendid, he seemed to have entered a large sect called Enigma Palace to cultivate. After that, he never appeared again. As for the city lord, it has always been a disciple or descendant of a splendid family. In front, Lin Ray, who was walking, heard Han Lei's words and immediately understood. And, I didn't expect Splendid City to have such a history, yes. That's you and that little slut, I will sell you. Aren't you going to enter a good family? Bam, bam, bam. Oh, at this moment, an angry roar came from afar. It was accompanied by a muffled sound and the cry of a woman. En? What's going on? Hearing the strange sound, Lin Ray did not release his divine sense this time. Instead, he asked Han Lei, who was beside him, "Young master, it's a shop that sells slaves." "Oh, selling slaves?" Hearing Han Lei's words, Lin Ray was puzzled. Although he had heard of the matter of selling slaves before, he had never seen it before. "Yes, young master." Selling slaves is nothing in the divine realm. It's just that most of the people who sell slaves are bastards. They specialize in capturing those from the other races, the human race, and even the demon race. The so-called 100 races are just objects to be sold for money in the hands of these slave traders. Oh, hearing this, Lin Ray's interest was piqued. Immediately, he grabbed Han Lei and said, "Let's go. Bring me to have a look." Yes, Han Lei, who had already eaten the mind control pill, naturally did not resist. As for Lin Ray's blindness, he did not ask about it. Soon, Han Lei brought Lin Ray to the place where the slaves were sold. There were many people here, and most of them were here to buy slaves. Then, Han Lei pushed through the crowd and brought Lin Ray to the front of the crowd. "Young master, we're here." Hearing Han Lei's words, Lin Ray used his divine sense. In an instant, everyone, everything appeared clearly in Lin Ray's mind. Even the ants and dust on the ground were completely presented to Lin Ray. Bam, bam. Two muffled sounds were heard. At this moment, a shifty-eyed man was holding a rattan in his hand. At this moment, he was violently whipping a person with unkempt hair and a dirty face who was locked in a cage. Chapter 612. What a strong, murderous aura. When Lin Ray released his divine sense to investigate the person in the cage, he suddenly saw a strong, murderous aura in her eyes. But Lin Ray was sure. This kind of person must have never killed anyone before, because, other than the murderous aura, he could not sense any hostility from her. Murderous aura is an invisible thing that appears after killing someone. However, as the number of people killed increases, the murderous aura will grow. But when the murderous aura reaches a certain level, it will materialize. Just like Lin Ray, when he was in the heavenly profound realm, he could already materialize his murderous aura. As for now, there were not many people in the God realm who could release their murderous aura completely. However, the reason why Lin Ray could feel that the person in the cage had never killed anyone before was because, on her body, he did not sense any hostility. But hostility, it was after killing someone. As the murderous aura grew, it did not matter if you killed one or two people. As long as you killed someone, there would be hostility. At this moment, when the person in the cage was whipping the person in the cage with a rattan, other than hatred, that person did not shed a single tear. Interesting. Lin Ray was very interested in this kind of person. So far, he had only seen one person like this. Here she is, everyone. I brought this person back from the desert. I heard that she is a descendant of the God clan, although she has not developed yet. But wait for 2 years, she will grow very well. A woman. At this moment, after hearing the hawker's words, Lin Ray was sure that the person in the cage was a woman. Lin Ray could not help but look at her a few more times. "Young master, this is a descendant of the God clan? Descendant of the God clan? What's that?" At this moment, Lin Ray was observing the person in the cage. When he heard Han Lei's words, he immediately asked doubtfully. When he came to the God realm, He only looked at the division of power and the currency. He did not see much else. Hearing Lin Rei's words, Yi Zichen was speechless. Han Lei paused for a moment, then opened his mouth to explain, the descendants of the God clan are the original inhabitants of the God realm. However, a clan like this is already very rare in the God realm. If I didn't hear this person mention it, I'm afraid I wouldn't even know that such a clan existed. Ancestors? God race? Lin Rei had a general understanding of the ancient people. However, he didn't really understand the God race. Logically speaking, the God race should also be considered a member of the God race now that he was an emperor god. The God race is a race. They were the first group of people to appear in the divine world when the divine world was first opened. I heard that this group of people was created, so they're called the God race. There are many other races like the demon race and the demon race. But for the God race, they are born in the God realm. As long as they find the right cultivation method, their future achievements will be limitless. At this moment, after hearing Han Lei's explanation, Lin Rei finally understood that there was such a race. Suddenly, Lin Rei felt that he knew too little. TSK, boss, who knows if this is a member of the God race? Everyone knows that the God race has been extinct in the God realm for tens of millions or even hundreds of millions of years. Who knows if you're right? At this moment, the buyers below the stage started to question the seller on the stage. That's right, boss. You're not fooling us, are you? That's right, boss. What proof do you have that she's a member of the God realm? If you have, then take it out. As long as you can prove it, are you afraid that you won't be able to sell it? One person's rebuttal started to attract the attention of many people. In the end, the whole place was in an uproar. In this regard, Linley, on the other hand, was becoming more and more interested in the person in the cage. Of course, it wasn't just because she was a member of the God race. It was also because of her hatred and murderous aura. TSK, how would I know if she's a member of the God race? If I knew, would it be your turn? At this moment, the seller standing on the stage looked at the uproar below and suddenly felt depressed in his heart. But from the beginning to the end, there was a confident smile on his face. I can't prove whether she's a member of the God race or not. As for whether you want to buy this person or not, it's up to you. If you don't want to buy, I can raise her myself. I can't bear to part with such a beauty embryo. A beauty embryo? At this moment, after hearing the seller's words, Lin Rei was stunned. The face of the person in the cage was covered in dust. He couldn't see any facial features at all. If he said that she wasn't a human embryo, Lin Rei was a little worried. However, Lin Rei didn't want to know whether she was a beauty embryo or not. He only knew that he must have this person. Come, let's start the auction. The starting price is 100,000 gold coins. Each increment is 50,000 gold coins. The highest bidder wins. The auction begins. Bang! Only the sound of hammering could be heard. The people waiting to buy the slave below began to become restless. Although they didn't know whether the person in the cage was a member of the God race or not, the so-called gambler psychology was that if they won, they would have made a fortune in this life. If not, at most, they would have one more slave at home. 150,000, 200,000, 250,000. In this way, everyone began to bid. Lin Rei didn't care about these people at all. Just like this, time passed little by little. At this moment, the bidding price had risen from 100,000 gold coins to 850,000 gold coins. At this moment, the person who bid had a wretched aura. At a glance, one could tell that he wasn't a good person. Moreover, he coughed from time to time. His eyes were sunken in. At a glance, one could tell that it was a sign of kidney deficiency. Competing with this uncle. Don't you know who you are? Small fry. As soon as the man spoke, everyone immediately glared at the person who spoke. Even so, no one dared to make a move. Young master, the bidder is the city lord's son, Jia Lai Roruan. He is currently the only son of the Jia Lai family. Because of this, no matter what mistake Jia Lai Roruan has made, the city lord won't say anything. In the end, the matter will be left unsettled. Oh, Jia Lai Roruan? After hearing Han Lei's report, Lin Rei didn't think about it at all. This kind of person wasn't worthy of his brain. No, he couldn't enter his brain at all. 850,000. Anyone? 850,000. 850,000 going once. 850,000 going twice. 850,000. At this moment, just as the seller was about to hammer down, Jalai Rowan was rejoicing. Just when everyone thought that no one else would bid, a voice suddenly resounded through the auction house. 1 million. Wow. As soon as the bid was called out, the seller suddenly went silent. The auction house was instantly shocked by the person who called out 1 million. At this moment, everyone's gaze turned to the person who bid 1 million. Even Jia Lai was the same. Who is it? Who dares to touch the person this young master values? Don't you know who this young master is? At this moment, Jia Lai saw that everyone's eyes were on the person who had placed the bid of 1 million. Suddenly, a feeling of being surpassed appeared. How could a prodigal like him, who had lived in a sense of superiority all year round, endure this? At this moment, the instant the crowd saw the person who bid 1 million for the slave, they instantly froze. Then, they began to discuss spiritedly. Some mocked, some despised, and some looked down on the person. Haha, look, this person is actually blind. That's right. A blind person actually wants to buy a slave. But this person is really rich. TSK, a blind person actually has so much money. Why is the heavens so unfair? The person who bid 1 million was none other than Lin Ray, who was standing at the front. Just as the hammer fell and the transaction was completed, Lin Ray hurriedly shouted. At this moment, Lin Ray had a smile on his face. He didn't show any dissatisfaction, nor did he show any signs of anger. All you shut up. Is my family's young master someone you can ridicule? However, although Lin Ray didn't say anything, Han Lei couldn't help but stand up and roar at the surrounding people. Oh, I was wondering who it was. So it's my Jia Lai family's guard dog. Since when did a guard dog have the money to participate in this kind of auction? At this moment, just as Han Lei was standing out and shouting at the crowd, Jia Lai and Ro Run, who had been outbid by Han Lei, had arrived. When they saw that the person who had shouted was one of the subordinates their clan had sent to guard the city gates, they instantly fell silent. Jia Lai Roruan hurriedly stepped forward and mocked. Looking at this person, Han Lei didn't say anything. Although he had been taken in by Lin Ray, he didn't want to cause trouble for Lin Ray. So, he chose to swallow his anger. See, a guard dog is a guard dog. Once you see your master, you become obedient. Seeing Han Lei's silence, Jia Lai and Ro Run began to ridicule him even more. However, all of this didn't affect the progress of the auction. At this moment, the seller began to shout. 1 million going once, 1 million going twice, 1 million going thrice. Bang, sold. Congratulations to this person. When the hammer fell, it meant that the transaction was completed. Immediately, Jia Lai Roruan's face darkened. Then, he looked at Lin Ray behind Han Lei. You're the one who stole this young master slave? The scene fell silent. Lin Ray ignored Jia Lai Roruan's words. He turned to the stage and said, Release that girl and bring her to my side. You actually... At this moment, Jia Lai Roruan felt even more humiliated. He immediately ordered the thugs behind him, Go kill him! Who dares to touch my family's young master? At this moment, Han Lei, who was standing to the side, heard Jia Lai Roruan's words. He was instantly furious. Then, he stood up and roared at the crowd. His eyes became incomparably cold, without a trace of emotion. What are you standing there for? Since you're looking for death, then kill him as well. Yes, young Master Roruan. Immediately, the thugs who received the order rushed towards Lin Ray and Han Lei. Their speed was so fast that Han Lei was caught off guard. What a disappointment. I wanted to rest for a few more days and didn't want to see blood. Looks like you're forcing me now. Chapter 613. Is this person stupid? Forcing you? Yes, so what if I force you? What do you do to me? My father is the city lord. What can you do to me? At this moment, Jia Lai and Ro Run laughed loudly after hearing Lin Ray's words. As they laughed, they couldn't help but mock Lin Ray. Ha-ha! Jia Lai and Ro Run weren't the only ones laughing. After hearing Lin Ray's words, the surrounding people all laughed loudly. All of them were laughing heartily. Disdainful smiles and mocking gazes appeared on their faces. Han Lei couldn't stand it anymore. Immediately, he released his cultivation and rushed towards the people who were laughing at Lin Ray. The moment Han Lei rushed out, the short sword hanging on his back appeared in his hand. He rushed towards them with a murderous expression. "Umph. Those who humiliate my young master will be killed without mercy." Lin Ray's divine sense probed Han Lei. A trace of a smile appeared on his face. Unfortunately, Han Lei's aura wasn't bad, but his level was too low. Han Lei, who was holding a dagger in his hand, had just rushed in front of that group of people. Before he could even make a move, he was kicked back. Bam, bam, bam. Flying backwards, Han Lei rolled on the ground several times before finally coming to a stop at Lin Lei's feet. Seeing Han Lei's sorry state, Lin Ray's face darkened. In the immortal world, everyone knew that Lin Ray was famous for being protective of his subordinates. At this moment, seeing his subordinate being humiliated like this, how could he, as the master, sit still? Using his divine sense to investigate the person who had attacked him, a bloodthirsty smile appeared on Lin Lei's face. With a raise of his hand, a surge of spiritual energy instantly shot out and transformed into a heavenly chain. It was so fast that before anyone could react, the chain had already bound that person. With a tug of his hand, the person bound by Lin Lei's spiritual energy chain was instantly pulled back to Lin Lei's side. Everything happened in an instant. What's going on? In the next moment, everyone came back to their senses. The instant they found the location of the person who had attacked them, they sucked in a mouthful of cold air and their expressions changed drastically. "Umph. Who do you think you are to touch my people?" Lin Ray said to Han Lei, who was on the ground, as he looked at the middle-aged man who was chained by his spirit energy chain. "Pick up your knife and kill this man." Yes." Han Lei, who was lying on the ground, was stunned for a moment before he quickly stood up and nodded in agreement. A short knife appeared in his hand. After glancing at Lin Ray, Han Lei's eyes were cold as he stabbed the knife into the heart of the person bound by Lin Ray. Poochie! The sound of the dagger piercing the flesh entered the ears of the surrounding people. Immediately, the surrounding people all took a step back in fright. At that moment, hot red blood spurted out from Han Lei's dagger. The scene was extremely horrifying. Some people couldn't even bear to watch such a scene and immediately bent over to vomit. You actually dare? The person who had died was none other than Jia Lai's subordinate. Seeing his subordinate killed, although he was terrified to death, for the sake of his face and the fact that his father was the city lord, he once again summoned his courage and roared angrily at Lin Ray. "You're too noisy." Hearing Jia Lai's barking, Lin Ray frowned. This time, he didn't hold back and directly used the star finger. Immediately, a fingerprint rushed out as fast as lightning and instantly rushed into Jia Lai's heart. Without a doubt, with Lin Ray's strength, it would be strange if the person who was hit by the star finger didn't die. Bang! Jia Lai's voice came to an abrupt stop. At this moment, his body lost all strength and fell limply to the ground. A small 2-finger-wide hole appeared in his chest. At this moment, blood flowed out from the small hole like a small stream. At this moment, a scream came out from the mouths of the crowd. Everyone knew Jia Lai and Ro Run. The instant they saw Jia Lai die, everyone panicked. This city originally belonged to the Jia Lai family. Now, the only male descendant of the Jia Lai family had died, just like that. If this matter was known by the city lord, one could imagine what would happen. How terrifying would it be? However, all of this, Lin Ray didn't care. At this moment, he only cared about the female slave that he had bought on the stage. At this moment, when the subordinates who followed Jia Lai and Ro Run saw how powerful Lin Ray was, they immediately froze. It was as if their bodies were fixed in place by magic. They didn't dare to move. Their eyes were filled with fear, and they didn't dare to look at Lin Ray. "Young master, is this really okay?" At this moment, Han Lei recovered from the shock of Jia Lai and Ro Run's death and asked Lin Rei with a worried expression. Don't worry. You don't need to worry about this matter. Lin Rei answered Han Lei's question truthfully and didn't pay any more attention to him. Regarding such a stupid question, his subordinates wouldn't ask. Of course, their strength was many times stronger than the city lord of this city. This, young master, this is the slave that you bought. I brought her here for you to inspect. At this moment, the seller's words sounded. After hearing this, Lin Rei immediately used his divine sense to investigate. He saw that the woman with a murderous aura was following behind the seller. She looked very timid. Lin Rei nodded with satisfaction. Here, this is 1,000,000 gold coins. Seeing that it was indeed the person that he wanted to buy, Lin Rei took out the 1,000,000 gold coins that he had prepared beforehand and put it in his storage ring. Then, he handed it to the seller. Ah, thank you. Thank you, young master. Looking at the 1,000,000 gold coins in the storage ring in front of him, the seller's eyes were filled with surprise as he hurriedly took it and then retreated to the side. As for the slave, at this moment, she was standing in front of Lin Rei. The murderous aura in her eyes didn't dissipate. Instead, it became even stronger. Looking at her, Lin Rei smiled gently and stretched out his hand towards her. Let's go, follow me. Hiss. At this moment, the moment Lin Rei stretched out his hand, the female slave directly opened her mouth and bit his arm. To Lin Rei's surprise, the female slave directly opened her mouth and bit his arm. Originally, Lin Rei, who was at the middle stage of the God Realm, didn't feel any pain at all. But what shocked him was that at this moment, a piercing pain appeared at this moment without any warning. What's going on? Why do I feel pain? At this moment, Lin Rei didn't understand at all. For the sudden pain, Lin Rei was very puzzled. Then, he hurriedly checked his body. After a while, he found that there was nothing strange in his body. Suddenly, Lin Rei looked at the female slave in front of him. Is it really this person? Lin Rei was uncertain. He hurriedly broke free from the female slave's mouth. Then, he rolled up his sleeves and saw a tiger teeth mark on his arm. It didn't disappear for a long time. Hiss! At this moment, Lin Rei confirmed that the one who made him feel pain just now was indeed the female slave in front of him. Haha! Interesting, really interesting. You're the first one who can leave a bite mark on my body at the middle stage of the God Realm and make me feel pain. At this moment, Lin Rei's interest in this person increased again. He really wanted to see what was so special about this person. Let's go. I'll take you to eat something delicious. This time, Lin Rei didn't reach out to grab the female slave. After the lesson just now, he didn't want to do it again. Then, he released his cultivation and formed an energy shield with his spiritual chi. The female slave was covered in it and floated in the air like a balloon. Han Lei, let's go. There's nothing fun here. Come back to the restaurant with me. With that, Lin Rei walked toward the restaurant with the female slave. As for Han Lei, the moment he heard Lin Rei's words, he followed him. At this moment, when the surrounding people saw that Lin Rei was about to leave, they quickly opened up a path for Lin Rei and the others to leave. Looking at the people around him, Lin Li revealed a smile on his face, then left. At this moment, when they saw the killer god leave, everyone heaved a sigh of relief. However, when they saw Jia Lai's soft body lying on the ground, their faces turned pale. Then, they hurriedly left, far away from this troublesome place. At this moment, in the restaurant, Lin Rei, who had been away for a long time, didn't know that everyone was looking for him like crazy. Especially Ying. When she knew that Lin Rei had left, she panicked. She was afraid that Lin Rei would leave without saying goodbye again. How is it? Did you find him? At this moment, Ying, who was standing at the entrance of the restaurant, looked at the Shura people behind her and asked them with a gloomy face. Madam, we found him. However, the young master seems to be doing something. We can't disturb him, so. What? You found him? Where is he? Tell me. At this moment, when she heard that Lin Rei had found him, Ying turned around and asked them excitedly. Just as the Shura people were about to tell her where Lin Rei was, a voice that surprised Ing came from behind. You don't have to look for him. Aren't I back now? Brother Lei? Lin Rei's voice entered Ying's ears. Immediately, Ing turned around and took a step forward. In an instant, she was beside Lin Rei and hugged him tightly. Seeing his wife's huge reaction, Lin Rei explained to her guiltily, Inger, I just went for a walk. You don't have to be so nervous. As he spoke, Lin Rei's hand gently stroked Ying's hair. Then, he led her into the restaurant. Master, at this moment. The moment Lin Rei entered the restaurant, everyone surrounded him, including Xiefeng. You brat. You didn't bring me along when you went out to play. You're so mean. Yeah, master. You went out to play by yourself. You didn't bring. Just as everyone was complaining about Linli, Lin Wanyu suddenly noticed the slave girl floating in midair. Her voice trailed off, and she turned to look at the slave girl with a puzzled expression. Looking at his eldest disciple, Linli raised his head and glanced at the female slave. He immediately said to her, Xiaoyu, take your junior apprentice sister and go clean this person up. Master, this is? When Lin Wanyu heard the order, she pointed at the person above her and asked curiously, I just went out to buy a slave from a slave dealer. I heard that she's from the Protoss, and her cultivation speed is very fast. She might be a great help to me in the future, so I bought her back. What? Protoss? Chapter 614. Lin Rei was too lazy to explain when he saw how curious everyone was. He said, All right, why are you asking so many questions? Hurry up and go. I'll wait here. As he spoke, Linli destroyed the energy barrier. In an instant, the slave girl fell from the sky, and Linli instantly reached out to catch her. At the same time, he made a move to completely seal her movements so that she wouldn't be able to bite others. Moreover, he was afraid that this slave girl would injure his disciples. After doing all this, Lin Rei placed the female slave in front of Lin Wanyu and waved his hand to dismiss everyone. All right, you can all leave now. Hurry up and rest up. We'll leave in a few days and go to the next place. Everyone was stunned when they heard this. However, they didn't disobey Lin Rei's order and turned to leave. Brother Nan, little Tian, stay here. I have something to say to you. The two people who were about to walk out of the door stopped when they heard Lin Rei's words. They turned around and agreed in confusion. Everyone left very quickly. A few seconds later, only he, Evil Phoenix, Shadow, Han Lei, the young man who was called out to stay, and Lin Tian were left in the restaurant. At this moment, everyone gathered around the table and looked at Lin Rei with confusion. They were all guessing what was going on. Looking at everyone's expressions, Lin Rei smiled and said, All right, don't be so nervous. I just called you to say a few words. Everyone was helpless when they saw Lin Rei's sometimes serious and sometimes smiling face. However, they were already used to it. Kid, can you not be so nervous every day? Hurry up and say what you want to say. I still need to go to my beauty sleep. Just because they were used to it, it didn't mean that Xiefeng was used to it too. When she heard Lin Rei's words, Xiefeng rolled her eyes at Lin Rei and said unhappily. Looking at Xiefeng, Lin Rei was stunned. Then he pointed to Han Lei and said, This person is called Han Lei. You must have met him when you entered the city that day. And looking at the person Lin Rei was pointing at, everyone hurriedly nodded in acknowledgement. They had a deep impression of this person, especially the boys. Since that's the case, let's cut to the chase. Lin Rei looked at Han Lei and said, I want you to secretly establish a sect that specializes in intelligence. What? At this moment, Lin Rei's words shocked the surrounding people. Their faces were filled with disbelief. What's wrong? Is there need to be so surprised? Isn't it just establishing a sect? At this moment, Lin Rei said it very casually. If this sentence was heard by the big sects in the realm of the gods, they would find it very funny. However, this sentence was indeed very serious in the ears of the boys and Lin Tian. They had watched the establishment of the Xuanzong sect from a small sect in the profound sky continent to a giant existence in the realm of the immortals. They knew every little bit about it. During this period of time, they were also present in all the big and small battles. Therefore, when the two heard Lin Rei's words, they knew that Lin Rei was serious. He wasn't joking. However, what they didn't expect was that the small matter that Lin Rei was talking about was establishing a sect. Damn, you brat, is this a small matter? A sect isn't something that you can create just because you want to, and it's not something that can be created just by moving your mouth. It can only be created after going through an extremely cruel competition. Of course, other than those small sects, no one knows about the extent of the transformation. At this moment, Xiefeng was very excited. However, Lin Rei didn't care about her excitement at all. Moreover, he was only informing them. He didn't intend to discuss it with them. I know that. Don't worry. Since I'm going to establish a sect, I naturally know how cruel it is. With that, Lin Rei looked at Han Lei and continued, the sect that I want to establish can spread throughout the entire realm of the gods. Remember, it's a sect that can cover the entire realm of the gods, including the sects in the ninth continent. This kind of sect is specifically in charge of intelligence. At this point, Lin Rei looked at Han Lei. At this moment, Han Lei was already shocked. He didn't expect his master to have such an idea. Moreover, the most unbelievable thing was that he was going to establish it. I know, but don't tell me that you can't do it. Since I've chosen you, I have my reasons. Of course, I have my reasons. You just need to say yes or no. Hearing Lin Rei's words, Han Lei was stunned. At this moment, his eyes were filled with confusion and confusion. He knew how Han Lei was feeling at this moment. Then he said to Lin Tian, who was beside him, "Little Tian, you've been with me for so many years. I believe you've learned a lot. This time, you'll go with me and do this well." At this moment, hearing Lin Rei's words, Lin Tian's body trembled. Then, he replied with a surprised expression, "Yes, young master. Little Tian will definitely complete the task you've given me." At this moment, looking at the scene in front of her, Xiefeng was completely stunned. Looking at the confidence in Lin Rei and Lin Tian's eyes, she was even more confused. In her heart, she still didn't believe that Lin Rei could establish a sect. Ignoring Xiefeng and the others' gazes and opinions, Lin Rei said to Lin Tian, "The name of the sect will be Divine Secrets Pavilion. The specific division of the sect is up to you. However, what you need to do is to appear in the eyes of the world in the form of a restaurant. However, you can't be discovered by others. During the day, you'll open a restaurant. At night, you'll collect and sell information. Of course, it's good to kill people occasionally." When Lin Rei said this, Lin Tian immediately understood. Then he said to Lin Rei, "I understand, young master. But what's the name of the restaurant? You can't just call it Divine Secrets Pavilion, right? Dear in residence, the name of the restaurant. As for the headquarters, you can decide on it yourselves. I'll give you enough money. As for the manpower, I'll give you some elixirs. As for the manpower, you can decide on it yourselves. You know the power of elixirs, so what Brother Lei means is that I'll give you time, money, and elixirs to control people. As for how to arrange it, you can do whatever you want." After hearing what the young man wanted to say, Lin Rei nodded and praised him with a smile. Not bad. You're indeed a young man." When Lin Tian and Han Lei heard this, they both nodded to show that they understood. "Okay, you can carry out this matter in 2 days. I'll give you some helpers. As for how to contact them, I'll try to think of something for you in the next few days." "Yes, we understand." After seeing them nod in agreement, Lin Rei turned his head to the young man and said with a smile, "Young brother, you should go back to your old profession. Don't worry, this time I'll not only give you money. When you're busy, I'll also give you those good-for-nothing disciples of mine. They'll be at your disposal. Don't worry. I'll let the 9 Heavens Trading Company spread throughout the realm of the gods." Hearing this, Dong Xiaonan confidently promised Lin Rei. "What, you brat actually still," at this moment, Xiefeng, who had been paying attention to the situation, was shocked when she heard the young man's words. Based on Lin Rei's arrangements during this period of time, it seemed like he was going to dominate the realm of the gods. Thinking of this, Xiefeng couldn't help but look at Lin Rei a few more times. At this moment, not only did she feel that Lin Rei's cultivation was fast, but she also felt that he was ambitious. However, Lin Rei didn't know what Xiefeng was thinking at this moment. However, Xiefeng was wrong. Lin Rei did this because he knew that sooner or later he would ascend to the realm of the saints. And he did all this for the sake of the Xuanzong sect and for the sake of his children who stayed in the Xuanzong sect. Moreover, these thoughts were only thought of after he found out that the Xuanzong sect might come to the realm of the gods. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gone through so much trouble to do all this. Well, okay, that's all I'll say. Since you all understand, then do what you need to do. It's a good opportunity to relax and walk around here for the next few days. Otherwise, when you're really busy, don't complain. Hee, that's true. At this moment. Hearing Lin Rei's words, the young man and Lin Tian quickly stood up, cupped their hands to Lin Rei, and walked out of the door. As for Han Lei, he didn't know what to do at this moment, but he couldn't disobey Lin Rei's orders. Then he walked out of the door. At this moment, only Lin Rei, Ying, and Xiefeng were left at the table. The atmosphere was very cold, so cold that it made people tremble. Lin Rei felt that something was wrong. He said to Xiefeng, "Xiefeng, you should also prepare these days. Help me think of a communication spell. Damn, didn't you just say that you'd think of it yourself?" Lin Rei had already thought of Xiefeng's attitude. As the saying goes, one needs to be shameless. Although he wasn't a scoundrel, it would be a waste if he didn't use such a huge treasure beside him. Since that was the case, it was fine to be a scoundrel for once. TSK, I don't care. Anyway, you have to help me think. Besides, during this period, I have to think about what to do next. I have a lot of things to do. Not only do I have to sit here, but I also have to cultivate, advance to the holy world, and find a celestial emperor for revenge. At this moment, Xiefeng, who heard Lin Rei's words, quietened down instantly. She revealed a serious expression. Okay, I know. Isn't it just a communication spell? Xiefeng's sudden reaction. Lin Rei wasn't used to it. But when he heard that she agreed to help, Lin Rei was very happy. Okay, since you've agreed, don't go back on your word. I'll wait for your idea. Lin Rei's face relaxed a little. Xiefeng saw this and smiled. Then she stood up and walked back to her residence. Brother Lei, why do you want to establish a sect? Isn't the Xuanzong sect already here? Why? At this moment, Ying, who was in a hazy state, couldn't hold back her curiosity after everyone left. Ha! Hearing his wife's words, Lin Rei sighed and said, "Alas, we're already in the Emperor God realm. Sooner or later, we'll be one step ahead of them. Since that's the case, why don't we quickly accumulate more strength for them during this period of time? If necessary, we can even eliminate some sects that are harmful to them. I don't want them to be in danger." Chapter 615. After hearing Lin Rei's explanation, Ying finally understood that he had done so much for the sake of their child. Tears flowed out of her eyes uncontrollably. Why are you crying?" Lin Rei sensed that something was wrong with the surroundings and checked with his divine sense. It turned out that Ying was in tears. Lin Rei asked in confusion. "No, nothing. I just feel that you're working too hard. In fact, as parents, we don't have to worry about our children. Sometimes, it's better for them to go out on their own." "Alas, I know that too. But do you think they don't give me any peace of mind? Let's take the matter of the entire sect's ascension as an example." Lin Rei sighed when he heard his wife's words. "Back then, I recruited all the top geniuses in the mysterious sky continent. Each of them had a supreme grade spiritual root or a superior grade spiritual root, so that they could become the mainstay of the sect. But now that prodigal son of Ibi asterisk Tisich actually. At this point, Linley didn't continue. Although his words were filled with anger, his face was filled with doting love. Ying, who was standing aside, saw it clearly. "Sigh. Well, no matter what you do, I'll support you. I'll stay by your side and never leave you. Then, Ing leaned on Lin Ray. In response, Lin Ray reached out and put his arm around her shoulders. They sat quietly and did not move. When will we be able to live the life of a farmer in the mountains and a farm in the countryside? Suddenly, when the two of them were sitting quietly in each other's arms, Lin Ray suddenly heard a sentence. Suddenly, Lin Ray was stunned. Then, he lowered his head and looked at his wife. Life in the countryside, this word was too difficult for people like them. Since the beginning of cultivation, they had always been moving forward in defiance of the natural order. The peaceful and serene life in the countryside was impossible for people like them. It was just an extravagant hope for them. However, at this point, Linley couldn't help but think back to his time in the profound sky continent after he lost his memories. Back then, he had lived in the countryside. Thinking of this, a cute and gentle girl appeared in his mind at this moment. Husband, go ahead. I'll wait for you. I want to leave with you, Brother Rue. At this moment, a wave of memories of him and Jean Ling swept through his mind. Her every frown, every smile, every word, every action, all appeared easily at this moment. Alas, letting out a sigh, Linley held Shadow even tighter. Although there had been some special reasons for this wife of his, after such a long period of time, he had already wiped away all of the negative elements that had previously existed. Right now, Linley didn't want her to be in any more danger. Of course, there had to be someone in the god realm capable of harming her. Suddenly, a shout that resounded through the sky came from the room. The voice was full of surprise and surprise. Immediately, Lin Ray and Ing, who were sitting at the dining table, heard the shout and their bodies involuntarily bounced up from their seats. Xiao Yu. Lin Ray was very familiar with the sound of the scream. After all, it was his disciple. He could not be more familiar with this voice. Yes, it's Xiao Yu. At this moment, after hearing Lin Ray's words, Ing nodded with a serious expression. Let's go and see what's going on. It's reasonable to say that no one here can touch her. With a worried expression, Lin Ray released his cultivation and reached out to grab Ying's waist. His body flashed and disappeared on the spot. At that moment, in Lin Wanyu's room in the backyard, Lin Wanyu was dumbfounded. Her eyes were filled with shock as she looked in front of her. She pointed a trembling finger in front of her as she spoke in a trembling voice. Em, you're alive? At this moment, the place that Lin Wanyu was pointing at was a wooden barrel. In the barrel sat a young woman with fair skin, red lips, and white teeth. Senior sister, didn't you say that Mime could not be saved? How? At this moment, Lin Yuro was standing at the side like Lin Wanyu. She was staring blankly at the young woman in the barrel. I don't know. You, go and call Master. See what he says. He's the one who brought her back. Hurry. Oh, okay. Hearing this, Lin Yuro did not hesitate and immediately rushed out of the door. However, at this moment, the moment she opened the door, a man and a woman were already in front of her. Pung! Lin Yuro's entire body fell backwards in a flash. Be careful. At this moment, the people who appeared at the door were none other than Lin Ray and Ing. The moment they heard Lin Wanyu shout, they rushed over. Who would have thought that when they arrived at the door and were about to knock, a figure rushed out from inside? Lin Ray did not react to this sudden situation. In the end, the two people collided, and the person who rushed out of the room was sent flying to the ground. By the time Linley came back to his senses, he realized that the person he had knocked flying was none other than his fourth disciple. He hurriedly stepped forward and reached out to catch her as she fell to the ground. Master? At this moment, when the person who was saved saw that the person who saved her was her master, Lin Ray, she immediately shouted excitedly. Xiao Si, why are you panicking? Also, what happened to Xiao Yu just now? Why did she suddenly shout? Seeing that it was his fourth disciple, Linley hurriedly asked him all the questions he had in mind. Yes, Xiao Rou. Your master and I rushed over when we heard Xiao Yu shout. Are you okay? After hearing Lin Ray and Ying's words, Lin Yuro was stunned for a moment. Then, she remembered what happened just now and said to Lin Ray, Master, it's not good. You. The person you brought back, she, HM? What happened to her? Didn't I already seal all her strength? She shouldn't be able to hurt you. Seeing that Lin Yuro was stammering, Lin Ray was puzzled. He still had some lingering fear towards that female slave. When he thought about how she was able to bite through his body, Lin Ray was worried. That was why he sealed all her strength. Aya, that's not it. Hearing Linley's words, Lin Yuro hurriedly shook her head. With a face full of worry, she said, Master, but the person you brought back is too strange. Her appearance is very similar to Mistress's. What? Hearing this, Lin Ray couldn't help but look at Ying. His eyes were filled with confusion. It's not Master Ying's wife. That female slave's appearance is very similar to Master Jinling's. If you didn't say it was a female slave, we would have thought that Master's wife had returned. I whoosh. A gust of wind blew past his ear. At this moment, when Lin Yuro said that the female slave's appearance was very similar to Jinling's, Lin Ray didn't wait for her to finish speaking. He was excited and released his cultivation. Instantly, Lin Ray rushed into the room. At this moment, Lin Yuro, who hadn't finished speaking, felt a gust of wind blow past her ear. She couldn't see her master's figure anymore. His speed was so fast that no one present had even noticed how he had disappeared. At this moment, inside the room, Lin Ray rushed in. After entering the room, he extended his divine sense and began to investigate the entire room. At this moment, in a wooden barrel, a figure appeared in his divine sense. The moment he saw that figure, Lin Ray was stunned. His face was filled with surprise, disbelief, and shock. All kinds of emotions were displayed at this moment. Master, At this moment, seeing Lin Ray's arrival, Lin Wanyu quickly went up and wanted to say something. Suddenly, her voice came to an abrupt stop. You go out first. Yes, master. Hearing her master's words, Lin Yuro didn't wait for her master to finish speaking. She walked towards the door. Little you, your master. Just as Lin Wanyu arrived at the door, Ying also walked in from outside. The moment she saw Lin Wanyu, Ying asked with a worried expression, It's nothing, master's wife. Master said that he wants to be alone for a while. He wants us to go out first. You see, all right. Hearing this, Ying didn't resist and followed Lin Wanyu out of the room. In the room, only Lin Ray and the powerless female slave were left sitting in the wooden barrel. Linger, is that you? At this moment, Lin Ray, who was silent for a moment, felt that there was no one in the room to disturb him. The moment Lin Ray felt that there was no one in the room to disturb him, he stepped forward and trembled all over. At this moment, there was no sound in the room. The female slave sitting in the wooden barrel didn't reply. In response, Lin Ray came to her side and reached out to remove the seal on her body. Right at this moment, in the instant that Linley broke the seal on the female slave's body, she came back to her senses. When she saw that she was sitting naked in the water, with a man by her side, she immediately glared angrily at Linley. At this moment, the murderous aura became even more intense. It was as if she wanted to kill someone and rushed towards Lin Ray. Linger, you're back? Lin Ray directly ignored the female slave's murderous aura. To him, this murderous aura was nothing more than a spark. Although it could start a prairie fire, to him, it was nothing more than a scratch. Oof. At this moment, the female slave sitting in the wooden barrel heard the strange man's words and similarly chose to ignore him. She coldly snorted and turned her head away without looking at him. Linger, looking at the female slave's appearance, Lin Ray suddenly came to his senses. Then, his face was filled with disappointment. He said in a self-deprecating tone, How is this possible? Ling is already dead. You're not Linger. You're not my Linger. I didn't expect the Venerable One's obsession to be so deep. It seems that I haven't cultivated enough. After saying that, Lin Ray didn't say anything else and headed outside. Just as he was about to reach the door, Lin Ray turned around and said to the female slave behind him, Wash yourself. These are the clothes. Come out when you're done. Chapter 6:16. After speaking, Lin Ray no longer lingered and walked out. He didn't return to his room, but went straight to the restaurant. Take out everything you have here. Okay, please wait a moment. At that moment, Linley had an extremely ugly expression on his face. When the waiter heard his words, he replied in a daze and walked to the back of the restaurant. When he reappeared, when he came back, he held a few jars in his hand. Young master, this is the best dragon fruit wine in our store. However, we don't have much, so please make do with it for now. Dragon fruit wine. Hearing the waiter's words, Lin Ray went silent. He knew about the dragon fruit. Although it was called the dragon fruit, it didn't mean what it said on the surface. The dragon fruit had another name, the snake fruit. It was the favorite food of snakes and was also a precious elixir. After hearing about the dragon fruit, Lin Ray couldn't help but think about the dragon fruit. Your dragon fruit wine is brewed from the dragon fruit? At this moment, Lin Ray's words came out. When the waiter heard it, his eyes lit up and he proudly said, "That's right, our wine is brewed from the dragon fruit. In the entire splendid city, only our store has it. However, you should know that there are usually a large number of snakes living around the dragon fruit. Therefore, it is not easy for us to get it." Oh, hearing the waiter's words, Lin Ray nodded and picked up a jar of wine. He raised his head and drank to his heart's content. Gulp, gulp. The sound made the waiter's forehead break out in cold sweat. He subconsciously touched his throat and thought, this person is too awesome. This wine is very spicy, and this person can actually drink it like this. The more the waiter thought about it, the more he didn't dare to look. Then he said goodbye to Lin Ray. Young master, please drink first. Bring some dishes over. Also, this wine is not bad. Also, bring out all the wine you have here. What, all of them? At this moment, the waiter who had been interrupted by Linley was startled upon hearing his words. His face turned hesitant. Go, listen to him, and take them out. Just when the waiter was in a dilemma, a clear voice resonated from behind. The waiter turned around and saw a very beautiful woman walking towards him. Haha, Siefeng, why are you here? Didn't you go out to take a look? He was very familiar with this voice, so he turned his head and asked her. Tisk, it's just a small place. I'll be done with a casual stroll, not to mention that I've been here for so many days. At this moment, Siefeng had already arrived at Lin Ray's side. She sat down and replied to Lin Ray with an unhappy expression. Hearing this, Lin Ray didn't have the chance and continued to drink. At this moment, the waiter's eyes were fully focused on Siefeng. When she felt the waiter's burning gaze, Siefeng's murderous aura leaked out. Immediately, the waiter's infatuated expression turned pale in fright. It was as if he had lost his soul. He couldn't help but retreat backwards. Seeing the waiter's current appearance, Siefeng ignored him. Instead, she picked up a jar of wine from the table and drank it. Jia! At this moment, a woman wearing yellow clothes with a sparkling complexion walked out of Lin Wanyu's room. At this moment, Lin Wanyu, who had been waiting at the door, was stunned when she saw the person who walked out of the room. Her eyes were filled with shock. This is Master's wife? At this moment, the person who came out was none other than the slave that Lin Ray had bought. At this moment, she naturally didn't look as dirty as before. Yes, although I've only seen her once, but she really does look like her. Especially when she's wearing these clothes, she looks even more alike. He was also waiting with Lin Wanyu. The moment she saw the female slave, she was also stunned. However, she had seen the world before, so she quickly recovered and walked up to her. Let's go. My husband is waiting for you in front. As she spoke, Ing reached out and grabbed her little hand. Then, she led her, Lin Wanyu, and the others to where Lin Ray was. Boy, hurry up and deal with the matters here. I'm tired of staying here. I don't want to stay here for another day. Do you understand? At this moment, Siefeng, who was drinking with Lin Ray, looked very annoyed as she poured out her dissatisfaction to Lin Ray. Looking at Siefeng, Lin Ray nodded and said, I understand. When I'm done here, I'll leave. Then you'll have enough fun. At this point, the two of them chose to remain silent. However, at this moment, Ing brought the female slave, Lin Wanyu, and the others over. Husband, a familiar voice called out to him. Immediately, Linley drank his wine, turned around, and sent out his divine sense. However, as soon as his divine sense reached Dao Ying's side, Linley was stunned. Ling, looking at the familiar figure, the familiar clothes, and the familiar face, Lin Ray knew that this was no longer his wife. His wife was already dead. When he thought that the person in front of him was his wife, a voice kept reminding him that this was not his Ling heir. It was like a demon's voice that could not be dismissed. Immediately, he withdrew his divine sense and straightened his posture. Well, let's do it. After saying this to the people behind him, he picked up the jar and took a big gulp of wine. Then, he ordered his eldest disciple, Lin Wanyu, who was standing beside Ing. Shall you go and find Xiao Tian? Tell him that I have something to tell him. Yes, I'll go now. Hearing Lin Ray's order, Lin Wanyu quickly nodded and walked outside. What's your name? These words suddenly came out of Linley's mouth. Instantly, everyone was stunned, their faces filled with puzzlement. Hong Xin. Just when everyone was puzzled, the female slave sitting beside Ing, who looked very similar to Jean Ling, opened her mouth. Suddenly, after hearing her answer, everyone understood that he wasn't asking them, but the female slave that he had bought. Oh, Hong Xin? Hearing her response, Lin Ray was a little surprised. He thought that she would not respond even if he asked. But he did not expect. The person who sold you said that you are from the God clan. Now I want to know if you are from the God clan. Lin Ray's question made everyone's eyes focus on Hong Xin. They all wanted to know about the God clan. Looking at everyone's eyes, Hong Xion's eyes were full of murderous intent, but she still told the truth. Yes, I'm the eldest daughter of the God clan's Hong family. You really are from the God clan? Hearing her answer, Lin Ray nodded with satisfaction. During the whole process, Lin Ray did not use his divine sense to explore, so he asked in the dark. At this moment, Xiefeng looked at the two people asking and answering questions. Then she anxiously asked directly, if you're from the God clan, why were you caught by the traffickers? Also, there is no longer a God clan in the God realm. Why did you appear? How can you prove it? Hearing Xiefeng's question, Lin Ray was stunned. He did not expect his thoughts to be guessed by Xiefeng. For this, Lin Ray liked her even more and did not want to let her leave by herself. Say it, tell me this, maybe I will give you back your freedom. At this moment, Lin Ray, who was afraid that Hong Xin would not say, quickly said freedom. Sure enough, after hearing Lin Ray say freedom, Hong Xion's eyes were startled and tangled. At this moment, there seemed to be two of her fighting in her heart. One said to tell, the other said not to tell. At this moment, she was making a difficult choice. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Just like this, Lin Ray, who was waiting for Hong Xion's answer, was not afraid to wait. While she was making her choice, Lin Ray was drinking wine. Previously, he had finished the wine and thought that there was no more. But who knew that just as he finished the wine, the waiter, who was scared out of his wits by Xiefeng, took the initiative to take the wine out. Haha! Feeling the wine on the table, Lin Ray chuckled and drank again. At this moment, it seemed that Hong Xian had made a decision. Her eyes were firm as she spoke. I am from the God clan. Moreover, the God clan is not silent in the God realm like you said. It's just that we are in another space. You just don't know. Oh, another space? At this moment, after hearing Hong Xian's reply, Lin Ray quickly put down the wine jar in his hand and looked at Hong Xian with interest. Yes, the God clan is the first to live in the God realm. Therefore, we have a bloodline that the later generations do not have. However, because of this, it is especially difficult for the God clan to continue to have children. It must be between the God clan and the God clan, and we can't marry outside. Damn, there's such a rule. At this moment, after hearing Hong Xian's words, Xiefeng suddenly burst out with vulgarities. As soon as she said this, everyone's attention was drawn to her. However, when Hong Xian's voice sounded again, everyone's attention was once again focused on her. Yes, that's right. The bloodline of the God clan is the purest. The elders of the clan are afraid that the bloodline will be tainted. So you are not allowed to like people from the outside world. You can only marry people from the God realm, and they must have a pure bloodline of the God clan. Seeing that Hong Xian was embarrassed to continue speaking, Lin Rei immediately continued her words. He roughly guessed the meaning and explained. Yes. Hearing this, Lin Rei despised the way the God realm thought and thought. The world was the same, everything was the same, not to mention the bloodline. Moreover, he did not think that there was anything special about the bloodline. Kid, don't underestimate your bloodline. Not to mention the God clan, even the sages would not underestimate your bloodline. Suddenly, the system's voice sounded. Suddenly, Lin Rei despised it. He was just thinking about it in his heart. He did not expect the system to peek into his state of mind. I was just careless. Moreover, I was also very curious about Hong Xian's appearance, so I came out to take a look out of curiosity. Hearing this, Linley felt even more disdain for it. Previously, they had said that it could be saved, but in the end, it had caused such a ruckus. Linley didn't pay it any more attention, instead turning to look at Hong Xian. Then how did you get caught? Logically speaking, as the God clan, your cultivation should not be weak. Moreover, I heard that you were born in the God realm. Why? You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.